By the way, daughter's sick, so she worked from here yesterday, and she'll work from here again today. So your theory of if either the daughter or the granddaughter's sick, they come over the condo. There
Right.
we go. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Pulled the wife aside, and I go, "Who are the two people in the family right now whose immune system could be the most compromised?" I go, "There's only three people that live in this condo. It's two of the three."
And hell, it might be three of the three.
And it really could be
You really break it
Patrick.
down when you throw the, 80-something-year-old mother-in-law in the mix. It's
Oh,
like,
no. She was one of the two.
okay.
I had the wife as not one of the two.
Okay, there you go. All right, there you go. I like it.
Right. Morning, everybody.
I gotta find the coolest thing I've seen today. I've not seen it yet.
You mean it wasn't the big dumper?
It might be the big dumper's in the lead right now. Well, you were right about that cruise. He can hit it a long way. The one he hit 514.
Woo! I guess there's only been two homers over 500 feet that were in that Coors Field in this thing, and that was one of them.
I mean,
Yeah.
they just make a little difference now. It was cool that Raleigh did, because I was listening to some stuff yesterday. People were saying Raleigh might not win because he's got his brother catching and his dad pitching, and
Right.
Will that throw the thing off a little bit, not having your BP guy? So that's kind of cool. All right, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this All-Star Game Tuesday. Hope your week got off to a good start, and we are so glad that you are with us. Let's see, how do we get things started? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Mark, for being here. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've been fighting the back now for a couple of months. But other than that, life is good. Picked up the mother-in-law yesterday. She had a panic because her phone didn't work getting off the plane. My guess is it was still on airport mode and she didn't know it. But I was already en route to pick her up. So after a week vacation with my mother and then family, and a week with just family, now it's a week with the mother-in-law at the house. So my job to take care of lots of women continues.
Take care or just stay out of the way?
Both. I mean, it's cook all the meals because that's part of what I do. I mean, I am the cook for the house. I handle the kitchen.
Right.
So and my mother-in-law and my mother are very, very different. My mom still does a lot. And my mother-in-law does too, but my mother-in-law, even though she would never admit it, likes to be taken care of.
Okay.
Likes when things are done for her. When she walks in the house, there's never an effort to grab the suitcase. It is understood that I will grab the suitcase. And I've had a back issue for about 2 weeks, and it hurts like a son of a bitch, and it hurts to lift things.
Right.
And fortunately, her suitcase was not that heavy. And I looked at my daughter yesterday. I said, "Can you take Grandma's suitcase upstairs for me?" She's like, "Sure, Dad." And I'm like, "Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. I don't know if I could do this up the stairs." So, I'm relying on others. She's relying on others, and everything's working out well. So,
good.
Yeah, the wife and mother, they talked all night last night, and I fell asleep to the sounds of the home run derby.
Well, listen. This is the perfect start then to the mother-in-law visit because you've got really home run derby last night, all-star game tonight, not much of anything going on Wednesday. Those two can just yep all night, and what do you care?
Right. And Thursday and Friday, when I come back from the show and throw on the British Open,
right,
she's actually in.
Right.
She played a little bit of golf, but she loves watching golf. She became a monster Tiger fan, and because of that, has players now that she likes. So we'll be able to sit down Thursday and Friday morning and watch the Open.
You know, it was funny. I watched a little golf over the weekend, and Tiger was in an ad. I think it was for the Bridgestone golf ball, and I watched the whole ad, and I thought to myself, "Dude, you're old. Dude, you're old." Okay, because they go all the way back to like '97 and video and what have you. I go, "Dude, you've been around a while now." All
Well,
right.
that was evident to me when they had the rain delay in the U.S. Open, and they went back and showed Torrey Pines,
Which is '08.
right?
Right.
And my son and I were talking about it, and he remembers, because as I've said before, when my dad was still around there, my dad and I would watch the U.S. Open together every year. Well, because of the situation with my son, he was always with me in the summers because his mom had moved away. So we all watched that together, and he remembers vividly watching that with the two of us. But when he said he went back to work on Monday, and he's got a couple of kids that work for him. He's 26 now. He's got a couple of college students that work for him, and they're like 19, and one of them's a golfer. Well, they don't remember that. And that was for those kids, it was their first time to watch Tiger, not highlights, to watch a tournament, how it unfolded with Tiger. And, it doesn't seem that long ago to us.
Right.
But for a lot of folks, for a lot of our kids, and for some of you, for your grandkids, and I know how many of you are golfers out there, that was a moment for them to see the guy we had talked about, who they've really never seen.
No, they've seen one major win. Okay, that 19-year-old kid was 2 when Tiger beat Rocco in the playoff, and they saw the 2019 Masters.
Right.
That's it. That's basically all of Tiger they know. Tiger contended in a couple of other majors in 2018. Won the Tour Championship, I think, in 2018. Maybe they were old enough to remember he won 5 times in 2013 and was Player of the Year. Didn't win a major, but had a really good year before more injuries. But yeah, that'll date us. Okay, when the 20-year-old looks at you and goes, "Yeah, I really didn't see Tiger play.
Right.
I'm sorry, I need to go sit down.
Yeah. Could I have an ice pack, please?
I'm feeling a little lightheaded." Right. Miller and Moulton, the All-Star game tonight. It's not close to what it was, and I wonder if it's losing steam every year or if it's plateaued and now it is what it is, or if it's going to, because the NBA situation's gotten so bad, they're all but eliminating the game. The NHL All-Star game has been laughable for a very long time. Laughable, okay, even to people who like the sport. It's a joke. And the Pro Bowl is not even a game. It's flag football, and that may go away. That may literally go away. Okay, ESPN will fight it like crazy because it still draws a number. If they can get 1 million for anything, ESPN's all in, and that thing still gets like 4 million. But, tonight's game will do between 5 and 6 million people. It'll be the most watched baseball game before at least the wild card round, but possibly, Mark, could be the most watched baseball game until the divisional round of the baseball playoffs.
And last night's home run derby probably did more viewers than any regular season baseball game will do. Like that
Yes.
Tiger game a couple of weeks ago did Yankee type numbers. Did what, 2.5 million, something like that?
The home run derby will probably do in the 4s.
Right. So, I mean, just to put that in perspective, an excellent Sunday night baseball rating will get dwarfed by the home run derby. But, David, I think plateau is the right word. I will honestly say, and I'm a little surprised at your attitude towards the All-Star game tonight. I know a couple of weeks ago when Pittsburgh and Detroit played 2 in Detroit because of a rainout, you jumped on your soapbox and gave us 5 delicious minutes of how Skeens should tell his manager what to do so he could pitch against Skubal.
I want Skubal.
Right. You were a lot closer to being accurate than I gave you credit for at the time. I did give you credit the next day because it was actually not the manager, but the other starting pitcher that day because he had seniority over Skeens determining who pitched when. But tonight, we get the 2 best arms in baseball going head-to-head. For an inning, for 2, it doesn't really matter. You know, listen to something on the way in, and we talked about it on the show. I did not realize it was a record. Do you recall last week when we had all of those shutouts?
Yeah.
There were 12 shutouts over the course of 2 days in baseball.
Yep.
With 20 or more games played, that had never happened in the history of the sport. That many shutouts in 2 days. We have arms at the level that we've never had before. We've never seen the amount of pitchers that can throw with the speed and also with the movement that what we're getting right now. And I at least think for the start of this game, to get Skeens and Skubal on the bump for the All-Star game, facing what will be pretty much the best batters on each side. I'm all in. I'm all in.
Okay. All right. I guess the reason I'm not as excited as I used to be is that it wasn't that long ago that the starter went at least 2 innings.
Right. And the starters in the game sometimes went 5 or 6. I know that's not the case anymore.
And so, you know, what is likely to happen is you're going to get an inning. The way they map this out, they usually map out 9 guys to pitch, maybe 10. One manager may do 1 inning where he'll bring in a righty to get 2/3 of an inning, and then he'll have a lefty come in to face a lefty, and that'll be his appearance. But usually, lately, it's been 9 pitchers for 9 innings. So this is your inning and what have you. Oh, okay. And so, but yes, I mean, on paper, you know, it's Skubal and Skeens.
Well, it's on paper, but it's also going to be on the mound. I mean, I know it would have been better for you to see a June early doubleheader game with these 2 pitching. But against, you know, I want to see Skeens against Aaron Judge. I do. That works for me. And if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. I get it. But you're being a little grumpy this morning. I'm just telling you, you were in a good mood when we started. And all of a sudden, we go for 10 minutes, great conversation. The most Miller and Moulton have talked before a show in probably 3 years.
I'm not grumpy at all. I'm still in a good mood. I slept really well. I feel good, which has not been the case for a long time. Okay, no, I'm having a good day. I just got to be honest with you. You know, and hell, my team's got like 5 guys in this game. Okay. All right. I guess. I mean, I'll say this, don't laugh. All right, to date myself, the fact that they're wearing their own jersey tops, that'll be the biggest thrill of the game for me tonight. Okay? Hey, a Yankee actually looks like a Yankee. How about that?
You know what's funny? When they did the whole 45-minute introduction of all the home run derby guys last night, and they're wearing NL and AL shirts. I'm like, I thought we were wearing jerseys this year.
I know.
Can't do it for 2 days, huh? You gotta
Can
You
only
got
do
it.
it for one? What? You only have one cleaning? You don't have a washer machine in there? Come
Exactly.
on.
Exactly. Great show lined up for you today. Greg DuCharme will talk a little British Open. Matt Moscona from SEC Media Days with a focus on LSU. JP Peterson, some big news in Tampa. And David Samson. All ahead on Miller and Moulton. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Defining a new era in Men's Health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, Johnny Mac, it's tough to compete with Battle of the Network Stars or whatever it is you were talking about there. Man, that was an all-time showstopper right there. With Howard Cosell going, look at Jamie Lee Curtis go. I just want like the first batter of the game. I'll say this on the air. Oh, I did the snack wrap the first day, Canada Relief, that debuted, what, Thursday last week? Was it Thursday? Yeah, it was the 10th. Yeah, I had 2 for lunch. Yeah. Went to Checkers on Sunday. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't have the mic on. If you said anything to me, I didn't hear it.
No, I was talking to the Twitch chat room. Did they not hear me also?
No, they heard you. They
Oh,
always
okay.
hear you.
Oh,
That's you're connected to them through your mic. You're only connected unless I turn you on. You don't.
gotcha. Yes, Spitz. My mom is fine. Thank you for asking. Actually, it was like last week, 4th of July weekend, coming out of it. They had some really bad storms, knocked trees down, 3 people died, lost power for like 18 hours, which I can only remember like 2 times in 30 years that my mom's lost power.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. Magic numbers, the football magic numbers are 44 and 51. 44 days away from that Thursday, heading into Labor Day weekend with 16 games on the docket and some good ones, actually, salty ones. Boise at South Florida. Nebraska and Cincinnati going at it at Arrowhead. All right, just some of what's on the docket in 44 days. 51 nights from tonight, the Eagles host the Cowboys, a little over 7 weeks away. We will have NFL football. That counts in the standings. This portion of Miller and Moulton brought to you by Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe. Hey, you know, I've thought they're a Hall of Fame sports bar, but they want their namesake to get into the Hall of Fame. Go to shoeless-joes.com, sign up for their online petition to get Shoeless Joe in the Hall of Fame, and you could win free wings and beer for a year. By the way, tonight and tomorrow, any kids who show up in their baseball or softball jersey, food is free, okay? And all this week, hot dogs and fries, $5, special on Bud and Bud Light pints, all at Shoeless Joe's, Doubletree, Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. All right. Listen, I think one of the most overused things in sports is the no respect card. Okay, whether individually or teams. And it drives me a little nuts, to be honest with you. It disgusts me sometimes. The whole, no respect ever. I mean, when I kid you not, there are Chiefs players. I've seen Mahomes give interviews last year in which they said, well, nobody thought we were. What do you mean nobody thought? You're the 2-time defending champions. Okay, you're the favorite in every game you played. What the hell are you talking about? No one thought. ... Stop it already. But that's what athletes do. Michael Jordan invented disrespect.
Well, that's where it began. I mean, that is where it began. It began with Jordan inventing ways to get angry at his opponents, to drive him to play. And given the fact that his name is most associated with GOAT in sports. A lot of others in every sport have tried to emulate the GOAT.
With that being said, however, and I am not a fan of this team. I love how they play, and I mean, but I'm not grown up. I don't have anything Florida Panthers in my life. Love watching them play, however. The NHL, Mark, made an announcement yesterday, and my first thought was, are you serious? Could you disrespect the two-time Cup champions anymore? Did you hear the announcement the NHL made yesterday?
Is this the triple header to start the season? Is that what you're speaking of?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I understand the Florida Panthers are not great for ratings. I get it. But come on now. I mean, the NFL has their Super Bowl champion host the first game of the year every year. Why? Well, because they won the damn Super Bowl and they've earned it. Little respect shown by the league. And that's why the Eagles are hosting the Cowboys. The Panthers are hosting the Chicago Blackhawks at 5 o'clock on opening day / night of the NHL season. Not in prime time. Oh, no. We have to wheel out the tired Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Pittsburgh Penguins, and then the New York Rangers with their new coach, who used to be Sidney Crosby's coach. No, we have to wheel out that game in prime time. For one night, really, you couldn't put the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions and give them the primetime slot. And by the way, let them hoist the banner and have the rest of the hockey world dream and go, one day, someday.
But now
No.
they'll do it at 4:35, 4:38 when most everybody's at work. The crowd will be sparse because the game is starting when it is.
Come on. What are
No,
you doing?
Well, this is, you and I have harped on this for a while in every sport not named football. Because the NFL is what it is. And when we finish the show, for those of you that are not getting our final hour, the bonus hour, as we like to call it, we always do what's on tap for the night. And David will routinely make fun of whatever networks are showing the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Dodgers continuously. And the network has determined that the Panthers aren't good for ratings. That's on the network. They spent the entire playoffs rooting for the other team. Whatever series they were in, whether it was Toronto, whether it was Edmonton, maybe not so much with Carolina. They just wanted that series over with, David.
But Mark, I put this on the league. Okay, sure. Yes, of course. By now, the NHL knows what teams draw better than other teams. And so, of course, ESPN and Turner would prefer that they get these teams. But the NHL is determining the opening night schedule. Who plays whom? Okay? Come on now. They won the Cup back-to-back years. 5 o'clock, and we could make all the Florida jokes about, 5 o'clock is prime time in Florida. I mean, hell with the early bird specials and all. Okay, but enough already. They won this damn Stanley Cup in back-to-back years. They've been in 3 straight finals. They can't raise the banner in prime time? Seriously? What kind of league is this? 5 o'clock. Could you imagine the Eagles? Could you imagine if opening day in the NFL was a doubleheader and the Eagles were playing at 5 so that the Chiefs or whoever, okay, could play at 8 o'clock in prime time? What the heck? All right. It's so funny. The league is doing a tremendous favor to the Panthers. They're giving the Panthers, the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, they're giving them a huge no respect card. to begin the season.
And by the way, it's not a 5 o'clock game on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Right.
It's October 7th. For those of you wondering, that's a Tuesday.
There you go.
That's the other part of this. If this was Saturday or Sunday night, I'd go, okay, you're doing a triple header and you're putting them first. Okay. On a Tuesday?
Come on. What are you doing?
And then the national hockey media, the Canadian hockey media, is going to talk about, well, look, the place was only half full when it opened. It's 5 o'clock. Do you know where that arena is in comparison with civilization?
I'm a Rangers fan. The Rangers got the primetime slot. I think it's disgusting. I think it's a joke. I think Gary Bettman should have heard the idea and fired somebody. And instead, he went along with it? He went along with it what? Because the Penguins and Rangers will do an extra 250,000 viewers? Seriously? Come on. Show some respect for your two-time defending Stanley Cup champion. And I'd feel this way it was the Calgary Damn Flames.
Instead, in prime time, you put two teams on that didn't make the playoffs a year.
Right.
One that's for sure not going to make it again this year. Your Rangers, we'll see.
Maybe.
You know, I don't know. Maybe.
I love Crosby.
They're a fringe playoff team, and Pittsburgh's bad.
And I love the Rangers. Come on. It's kind of like, the NFL gave us what? Giants, Cowboys, it seemed like, for 10 straight years on Sunday Night Football to open the season. And even Giants and Cowboys fans went, come on, man. Could we do something different?
Miller and Moulton. Great show lined up for you. We have a poll question on deck. But next, it's the starting five. Thanks for listening. Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Ream Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh, no!
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks slide peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and one replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor. A neighborly company.
Miller and Moulton would like to thank the sponsors that, quite frankly, saved the show in 2024. Whether it was Floor Meisters, American Paint Supplies, Glass Doctor, Molly Maid, Cigar Bar, Sleep Treatment Direct, the Diamond District, and even the Cape Coral Police Department, thank you. We're hopeful of a great 2025, still needing sponsors, so reach out to Miller and Moulton via X at that Mark Miller or the David Moulton, or text us at 21,000. But Miller and Moulton says thank you to our sponsors and to you, our loyal listeners.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So Brad found out about the home run derby on YouTube. Got it, Brad.
I'm going to throw something out at you, Twitch chat, because you guys, and this is a generalization, And this is all of us, but I see it from you folks on a regular basis. You guys are haters. Sports fans now we hate on everything. But as Brad's saying, don't go to Atlanta. Yesterday, Puckverge, Atlanta sucks. Can you guys name me a big city that you like? Any one. Because I still like cities, David.
I love cities. I wish I lived in a big city. I've always wished I lived in a big city. I tried my whole life to work in a big city. Wasn't good enough.
I just kept going to smaller cities, David. I went from Atlanta to Nashville to Raleigh to here.
Well, that's true. You decided, let's go downhill. I thought our joke was we were trying to do ESPN Radio Havana. Remember that was
it. That's what we wanted.
We wanted to go as warm as possible. Right.
No. I'm sorry. I'm going to rephrase that. Name a big city in this country. And I'm sure, Puck Virtue, you've been to Lisbon and Rome in the last couple of days. One in this city. One big city in this country you like. And I get that some cities have deteriorated and there are problems. I'm not sticking my head in the sand.
Robes, I would have stayed in Fargo. It's funny. I loved Fargo. I don't know if there's a place that besides growing up in Jersey, I don't know if there's a destination that I've lived in that I enjoyed more. And the people. I love the people of Red River Valley. Miss them. My wife would have left me if we stayed another year, though. She found it isolating and cold.
I'm just trying to bring the positivity out in you folks today. I don't need the negativity. I need positive. Life is not that bad.
Adam, you do know the Panthers are basically sold out for the year.
Yeah, they sold their season tickets out, which is like 15-1 or something like that.
I mean, they're done. Well, we were coming up on winter. I got out right around Halloween. The first snowstorm had just hit.
And I will say, I loved where I was in Maryland. I really enjoyed my vacation. I would take Northern Michigan over from the people standpoint versus where I was in the Maryland, West Virginia. And they were nice. But Northern Michigan people are very, very nice.
That is true. We complained about yes, we railed on the NHL. We did. The league we love. Morons. Give the Florida Panthers some motivation. What are you doing?
And Puck Virtue, I know that's content for a show because that happened yesterday. I just find it hilarious that you guys every day just rip cities over and over. And that's fine.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour, Greg DuCharme to talk the Open Championship. Coming up 1 hour from now, SEC Media Days. Matt Moscona, our buddy from Baton Rouge in New Orleans. He'll join us top of the 8 a.m. Eastern hour. JP Peterson in 2 hours. The witch is dead. The king is dead. Oh, they were singing and dancing in Tampa last night, and that was before Caminero nearly won home run derby. Sternberg is actually going to sell. How about that? JP will join us in 2 hours. And it's a Tuesday, so we'll have our weekly visit from David Samson, who I'm sure will have plenty to say about the Rays and the Home Run Derby. But right now, it's time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
The Athletic reporting that the Tampa Bay Rays are in fact going to be sold. This sucker is happening. Jacksonville's Patrick Zalupski is going to be the point person on the $1.7 billion deal. And they said the sale could be official by September. There was talk last night that since this deal is happening, the Rays may be buyers at the deadline because the new owners have already said, yeah, don't worry about the costs. We got it. We'll see. By the way, all but assured that the team is staying in Tampa. In fact, we wonder, will there ever be another game at the Trop? Could this lead to a buyout where the city of St. Petersburg, instead of spending the money to repair the Trop so that the Rays can play 3 or 4 more years at the Trop, does the city of St. Petersburg just pay the rent for the Rays to stay at Steinbrenner Field? Now, the Yankees would have to cooperate, and the Yankees did say they look at this as a 1-year deal only. But we'll see, because let's face it, money talks. So the Yankees could always up their rate. I believe the Rays are paying $15 million this year to rent out Tropicana Field. What if the Yankees say, well, for the inconvenience, how about $25 million? And the Rays will be like, well, sure, because city of St. Petersburg's going to have to pay the deal. It's obligations up to them. So sure, works for me. We don't care if the Steinbrenners make more money on this. Home Run Derby last night. Mark, do we call him Cal Raleigh? Do we call him the Big Dumper?
The Big Dumper, David. That's the Big Dumper.
Or do we call him Home Run Derby champion, Cal Raleigh?
The Major League Dumper.
The Big Dumper.
The best nickname in sports today. You give me a better nickname than today. Don't go give me some guy from the 20s back when you were in your heyday, and I mean the 1920s. The Big Dumper.
You think this is better than the Big Aristotle?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. So the Major League leader in home runs actually won the Home Run Derby. That usually doesn't happen. All right. Raleigh beat Brent Rooker. You know, I figured this out. I think he beat him by an inch. And I'm not kidding. So apparently they tied, same number of home runs hit in the first round. The tiebreaker was longest home run. Raleigh's home run went however many feet, 0.71. Rooker's home run went the same number of feet, 0.63. Okay, that's 0.08 of a foot. That's 1/12 of a foot. I mean, my math's not off here, right? This is one of the few things I'm good at.
Right.
Raleigh beat Rooker by an inch. Don't you have
many people over the course of the history of time have gained an advantage, David, because of an extra inch.
I understand.
Sometimes an extra 2.
And you would think the Big Dumper, would have the advantage over Brent Rooker. That the nickname alone was worth an inch. But unless my math's off, and I don't think it is, I think Cal Raleigh won the first round against Brent Rooker by an inch. I mean, if this was an election, we have to have a recount, don't we? I mean, if this was tennis, don't we have to challenge the call? I mean, are we sure? I mean, it hit the person in the stands. What? It hit him in the belt as opposed to the chest. I mean, anyway. But Raleigh beat Rooker by an inch. O'Neill Cruz in the semis, and then he out-homered the Rays. Junior Caminero 18-15 in the finals. He became the first catcher to win the home run derby. He became the first switch hitter to win the home run derby. He became the second Mariner to win the home run derby. You may have remembered this guy called Ken Griffey Jr. Oh, by the way, the All-Star game is tonight in Atlanta. Skubal for the American League. Skeens for the National League. How about first 2 years in the league and you're starting the All-Star game both times? That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
That'll work. He's going to look really good as a Yankee in about 3 years at the deadline. He really is. 8 o'clock on Big Fox tonight. Big Fox. NFL. The Jets signed wide receiver Garrett Wilson to a 4-year, $130 million extension. This makes him easily top 10 highest paid receivers in the league. I think it makes him like top 7. Now, it doesn't kick in this year. It kicks in next. That's $32.25 a year. Don't you think that means Terry McLaurin's price just went up a little bit in Washington? I mean, Garrett Wilson's a good receiver. He is. And he's younger than McLaurin. I mean, he's in his mid-20s and McLaurin's 30. But, I mean, come on. If you're McLaurin and his agent, I mean, you were probably about to agree to a contract extension like this. And now don't you look at the Commanders and go, you got to throw a little something on top. I'm better than Garrett Wilson. I've done more than Garrett Wilson. I'm the leader of this team, by the way.
I think that's the part that resonates most, David, because he is older. And I could argue if I were the Commanders saying, yeah, I get what you're saying, but you're 30 years old. Injuries, all the things that could occur. But I do think the fact of what he represents on that team is critically important. And you really don't. I know the players mostly don't care, but the longer you go into training camp with not having him there, it's a bad thing.
If the Jets' new regime actually figures it out and makes the Jets a consistently viable franchise, circle this day and this signing. The Jets are notorious for not re-signing their high draft picks to second contracts. It's a stunning long list of guys the Jets let go for whatever reason and don't pay. Garrett Wilson, former first-round pick, one of their probably 3 best players on the team. They keep him in-house through the rest of the decade. My guess is the big defensive tackle will be next. This is good business by the Jets. 49ers wide receiver Jawan Jennings is scheduled to make $7.5 million in his final year of his deal. He said, yeah, I want a new contract or I want a trade. Right now, Jawan Jennings is their number 1 receiver. You know, the other guy's hurt. And the other guy got traded. So Jawan Jennings right now is their number 1, and he ain't happy. NHL, we went over this last segment. They announced their opening night triple header. What a slap in the face to the Florida Panthers. Tuesday, October 7th is when the NHL season will get underway. And at 5 o'clock, the Panthers will host the Blackhawks. That's right, the NHL with the joke, hey, how about an early bird special for the team in Fort Lauderdale? Primetime game is Penguins and Rangers. Boy, we haven't seen that. And then 10:30 at night, Avs and Kings. So that's good. That's fine. That'll work. Rest of the schedule, by the way, gets released tomorrow. College football, a lot of talk coming out of SEC Media Days, which is kind of the intention of having a media day. Commissioner Greg Sankey flat out said the SEC and Big Ten have a different view of the playoff format, and that they spoke for 4 or 5 consecutive days last week, and they have just agreed to disagree. The SEC wants to go with the 5 conference champions and the 11 at large, and apparently the Big Ten wants 4 guaranteed spots, period. They want the 4-4-2-2-1-1 format. And they might be alone in this because the Big 12's on the side of the SEC. I haven't heard the ACC commissioner go public, but if I had to guess, Mark, I'm guessing he's on the side of 5+11, thinking Clemson, Florida State, Miami, if they have their acts together, we can get more than 2.
100%, David. I think if he was against the 5-11, we would have already heard it by now.
Don't normally go high school football, but this is an interesting story.
Oh, I didn't know it was going to make the starting 5. I thought we'd talk about this a little more at length.
Well, I think we could, but Teddy Bridgewater, remember him? He retired. He led Miami Northwestern to a state title last year. Then the Lions signed him to be the backup quarterback. He actually threw a pass in their playoff loss to the Commanders. So he has been suspended because he acknowledged that he paid for some Uber rides, some meals, and some recovery services. Now, I don't know what that means, to be honest with you, for some of his players last year. And he admitted this because he sent out a Facebook posting asking fans to take care of these costs this year, and he admitted he took care of them last year. Well, that's impermissible benefits, and so Teddy Bridgewater has been suspended. I mean, it's his own words. He's not denying it. My question is, I mean, you're going to take the state title away from him? What are you going to fire him? NBA, pay attention to this story. Oh, by the way, 35-year-old Paul George had left knee surgery yesterday. Really? Mid-July? He had knee surgery back in March and April, I thought. That's not a good sign. Apparently, he re-injured the knee working out. Okay, and if you read the press release closely, all the Sixers are willing to acknowledge is, after the surgery, we'll take a look at it and see what his status is. Yeah, that ain't good. No talk about him being ready for camp. No talk about, don't worry, he'll be ready for the start of the season. Yeah, even with Joel Embiid, they're saying he'll be ready for training camp. They're not even willing to go that far with Paul George. He's only in year 2 of that $53 million a year deal, by the way. Unbelievable. WNBA last night, the Minnesota Lynx improved to 19-4. They got 29 from Nafisa Collier in a 13-point win over the Chicago Sky. I got to give it up to Angel Reese. She is balling. 22 points, 10 rebounds against the best team in the league last night. She split for 3 weeks. She's been a tremendous player. She's totally different than the joke of a player that she was for a good chunk of last year. Phoenix got a free throw with a second to go to beat Golden State 78-77. And at 8 minutes before the hour mark, that was your starting 5. 5 big stories and impermissible benefits here on Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, it's a bizarre story to me because Bridgewater admitted everything. I get it. And he's trying to help young men out. That's the reason that an ex-NFL player who doesn't need to coach high school is coaching high school. He's trying to make better men. That's what his goal is. And in order to get kids to practice, and they couldn't get there, he paid for some Ubers. Like you said, I'm not exactly sure of what, but it sounded like it was just, players that, I don't know about rehabbing, but just helping them, whether it's,
I think paying for some training staff to come in and to help the athletes stay healthy is what it sounded like to me. Right. And he dipped into his own pocket and he did it. You're not allowed to do it. And he did it.
But let's look at this with a little wider lens and look at, the apartments that coaches have randomly found for players and their families so that they move into their district.
What? That's a wild accusation, young man.
And I'm sure that there are a handful of schools in Florida that were quick to point out these impermissible benefits so that their school could stay on top of the high school football food chain. Miller and Moulton. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh no!
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks slide peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and one replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor. A neighborly company.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Miller and Moulton are very grateful to you, the listeners, for making us one of the highest rated shows for men, because the working man is one of the toughest demos to reach, and we do. Great sponsors like Floor Meisters, American Paint Supplies, Glass Doctor, Sleep Treatment Direct, Game Day Men's Health, and Molly Maid recognize that, and we thank them. And if you own a business and working men are your clientele, the most cost-effective way to reach them is through us. Text Miller and Moulton at 21,000 or directly via X at that Mark Miller or the David.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Ryro, I just kind of did. I think it's a joke, Mickey. I think it's a joke. The Florida High School Athletic Association is one of the most dishonest sporting organizations at the state level for high school that I've ever seen. It's a joke, the way they let kids transfer, the rules they apply. Hell, and as Ryro brought up, Naples cheated for years. I don't care. They were good. Kramer's a nice guy. I like him. But don't think they didn't cheat like a son of a. David, do we want to do the Hurts or Herbert poll question? Do you have anything else?
No, LSU, Alabama. Nope. I'm fine with Herbert Hurts. By the way, are we saying for this year or for the rest of the decade? I mean, like, or are we just asking which quarterback would you want?
I like for the rest of the decade.
Okay.
I
love that guy.
Which QB would you want to start for your team for the rest of the decade? I like it.
Yes, Johnny Mac. I don't. Both the Panthers and Lightning, I believe, get outdoor games this year.
The Panthers are inside at the baseball stadium. They're not outside the football stadium.
Gotcha.
They're at the baseball stadium. But yes, the Lightning are playing at Ray J.
All right.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this All-Star Game Tuesday. 44 and 51 days away from the college and pro football seasons getting underway, by the way. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe celebrating the All-Star Game tonight. Stop on by the Doubletree Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. All kids wearing baseball or softball jerseys tonight and tomorrow. Eat for free. Specials all week. Hot dog and fries, $5. Bud and Bud Light pints on special. Sign their petition, shoeless-joes.com, to get Shoeless Joe in the Hall of Fame. And you could win free wings and beer for a year. Shoeless-joes.com. It sounds like this Teddy Bridgewater story bothers you.
It does, because the hypocrisy of the Florida State High School Athletic Association?
It's the Florida High School Athletic. It's the FHSAA, Florida High School Athletic Association.
They're, to me, and I don't dive into high school sports.
Right.
I wish I cared more. I really do. I come from an area where high school sports were a very big deal. I used to drive 30 miles to go watch high school basketball games when I was in middle school and in high school. I love amateur athletics. I really do. I don't go to high school games. Now, as my daughter's becoming high school age, I may end up going to more. But on the surface, the Florida High School Athletic Association seems to be the most corrupt group running high school sports in the nation. I've never seen a place with the rules quite like Florida, where you literally can play 3 sports for 3 different schools in the same year, in the same school year.
You can. If you can pull it off. I don't know anyone who has, but there have been quite a few who have played 2 different sports at 2 different high schools in the same year. Absolutely. By the way, corrupt or incompetent? Okay, we could have a healthy debate about that. I think you
know more about, because you spent enough time in local news.
Yep.
Where you covered high school athletics very well, and both back then, both your station and the NBC station in this market did a really good job of covering high school sports. We don't do that anymore, really anywhere. The sports staffs have been cut to the bone. The high school athletics are not covered the way they once were.
By the
But
way,
I
I do need to interrupt and just say a loyal listener to our show is Brian Simon, who is the longtime Wink sportscaster, and that's CBS in Southwest Florida, and they also did a great job covering high school sports. So Brian's probably driving around right now going, "Hey man, I was standing next to you shooting those damn games in the rain. Come on."
Well, I remember, from when I first got here, the NBC station did a high school football show that started at 11:25 or whatever the case may be and ran for 20 minutes or whatever. So yeah, Brian Simon, great guy, like him a lot.
Right.
You guys all worked hard. You all had sports departments then.
Yes, we did.
There aren't many local news stations that have sports, let alone a sports department.
Right.
And by and large, the people that live in Florida were all from somewhere else. And now, while people have been here generations and raised families more, and there are more people, but it doesn't seem to have it. Just as good as the athletics are, the amount of people that care about them is far less. Obviously, Florida high school football is, my goodness, 20 times better than 50 times better than what I witnessed in Michigan. And obviously, with the population decline, it's much worse now. But as far as people going to games and caring, it was way different up there than it was here. The whole community seemed to care about their team. I don't know. You have Naples High, where I am, you have Naples High and Fort Myers High that care. Occasionally, other schools will be good and care. But this Bridgewater thing, I don't think he was trying to gain some advantage. I think he was trying to treat the athlete the way he felt an athlete should be treated.
Listen, I think we both agree. And for those, if you're literally just tuning in and you're wondering, what are they talking about? Teddy Bridgewater, head coach, Miami Northwestern, led him to a state title last year. He was a volunteer coach before he became the head coach last year. He admitted on Facebook, because he sent out a plea, if you will, to the fans saying, hey, I paid for Ubers and meals and some recovery services for the players last year out of my own pocket. I was hoping that you guys could raise the money to do that this year. Well, that's admitting to a violation. That's impermissible benefits. Here's my thing, because if Teddy Bridgewater suspended for 6 games this year, half a season, whatever. I mean, we could debate it. Here's my thing. If you're the FHSAA, you going to take the state title away from them? No. Because, Mark, let's face it, they could. I'm sure they could. And I'm sure, I don't know who they beat in the final. I don't know who they beat on the way to the final. Don't tell me one of those schools isn't going to call Tallahassee and go, you're going to let them keep that? I mean, we all know there's stuff going on, but he admitted it publicly. And we all know it. I mean, what? Uber rides, some meals, recovery services. I mean, I don't know. Do you think he spent $1,000?
Probably.
Okay. All right. But if you were the FHSAA, now you and I are probably a lot more liberal and less corrupt concerning this story than they are. But what do you do? I mean, what's the punishment? You have to punish him. I get that. What he did was wrong. Okay. I get it. By the way, technically the high school is the one that suspended him. He's not been suspended by the FHSAA. They're now, quote, looking into it. I'm just curious. What's the next step? I mean, Miami Northwestern probably, I don't know, suspend him for the first month of the year? Who knows? But you tell me, what do you do here? Because I would not, come on, I would never take away a state title for this. Never.
And the funny thing is I believe Bridgewater has gone on to say, because as you mentioned, he was a volunteer. He's like, I'll just go back to being a volunteer. Is that really what you want? Is that what's in the best interest of the young man at Miami Northwestern? Because he bought some Uber rides for kids in what I believe to be a reasonably tough neighborhood, getting them from A to B so that they can come to practice. 21,000's the text line, 21000.
Now, I'm sorry, Mark. I'm very sorry. It's on the Twitch chat room that someone is saying that he claims he spent $200,000. I can't believe that that's true.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, sometimes, David, I'd ignore them until you back that up because I don't think it is either. I've not seen that number. I've read 3-4 articles on it, but maybe it is.
But let's just say it's 10 grand even. I'll go so far to say he spent 10 grand. Which that's a decent amount of money. That's not 500. That's not 1,000. Mark, what would you do?
I wouldn't do anything.
If you're the FHSA, I don't think you can.
What are you going to do? You can't fine a coach. Come on now.
I agree because they make $12. I agree with that. Okay. But I don't think if you're the FHSA, you could do nothing. I even
Can you put him on probation then? Suspend it. What do you want to suspend him for?
Well, he admitted he broke the rules. I mean, he broke the rules. He admitted to it. I mean, it sounds like he'd do it again, but he broke the rules. I don't think you can have coaches publicly admitting they broke the rules involving money, and not punish them in some way. And Mark, I mean, I'm not kidding. I would literally just recommend, can we suspend them for one additional week than Miami Northwestern? Whatever Miami Northwestern decides to suspend him, let's just throw an extra week on. I mean, I'm with you. Can you put an individual coach on probation? Can you put is this like college football? Can you put a high school on probation? And what does that mean, by the way, probation? What, they can't appear on TV? I mean, if Miami Northwestern's in the state final, sorry, can't televise it. No, help me out here. What? I don't know, besides suspending him, what you can do. I'm trying to quickly go through my Rolodex here and think what programs have been penalized by can you make them ineligible for the playoffs for this coming season? Can you go that far? I don't know, but what would you do?
And I love it now because the text line's in. We got this guy, $200,000 they're giving him. This one says he spent $17,000 on camps. This one's saying he paid a quarterback $60,000. Send me some links, guys. I've read articles from the New York Times, from ESPN, from the Miami television stations. None of them talk money. You guys all have the money figured out.
But what do you do here? Listen, I can't.
You know what? Put him in jail, suspend him for life, and give his kids to somebody else. He's obviously the worst human in the world, David.
Well, Mark, and you're touching on something here because you're reading all the texts at 21,000 in the Twitch chat room. This is where, when you and I were screaming and yelling at one another about Michelle Wee being suspended or being DQ'd because she didn't sign the scorecard in the proper area that you have to be in to sign the scorecard. She had left to go get a drink, and on her way she went, and signed her card, and it's like, nope, you left the circle, you're DQ'd. Okay, and you were like, hey, rules are rules. And that's how you are about golf. And you've joked about it. You're like, listen, I am not a hard ass, and I don't do the hard line very often, but I'm a bit of a hardliner about golf. Well, we got the, you know what the Twitch chat room and YouTube and the text line looks like right now. This is where the hardliners come out and they go, violated the rules. Okay, take the title away, ban them from coaching.
And we've got IMG up in Sarasota running, and we're bitching about Miami Northwestern. I don't know, David. I got to admit, this is outside of my area. Maybe I need to stay in my lane and stick to pro and college sports. Really and truly. But for years, there's a school not too far from us that was paying for apartments for players for years, and everybody knew it. They never got in any trouble, and they've won some state titles too. The coolest thing I've seen today. Next. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Faro and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Faro and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Faro and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh, no.
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks lie peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and one replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor. A neighborly company.
This is Miller and Moulton.
David, by the way, you were talking about Indy racing yesterday, and the thing they did in Iowa.
Right.
According to what I'm seeing, ticket sales for around 6,000 for each of IndyCar's doubleheader events clouded the future of IndyCar at a track where the grandstands hold 24,000.
They only had 6,000 people there?
What it's saying.
Jeez.
And it can hold 45,000 when the camping and temporary suites are erected. And president of Penske said that he plans to hold a race in 2026, but a return is not guaranteed. Read not really an article, but a little column in that John Wall Street. I get it every day.
Right.
Person just talking about they have basically club valuations of MLB, and I did not realize MLB club valuations trail their NHL counterparts in several markets: Tampa Bay, Colorado, Toronto, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Vegas. That the NHL team's worth more than the MLB team.
What, Detroit?
Just telling you what it says.
Come on. You tell me, does that sound right to you? Because it doesn't to me. The Tigers? And not just because they're good now. I mean, if we went back a year ago at this time when they were 8 games below 500, I'd still have the same reaction. The Tigers are beloved throughout that state.
So are the Red Wings.
But
I'm just telling you what the article says. I'm not.
No, I know. At that one, that surprises me.
But it said, the 2015 Royals were the last MLB championship team to hail from the bottom half by market size. The NFL and NHL have had bottom half champions, and have had 5 bottom half champions over the same period. The NBA's had 2 in the last 3 years. And it gets into a whole thing about why they need a cap and why that union's always regarded as the strongest union, and why are they just taking care of their rich players? It's a pretty interesting column.
Okay. I like it.
But it does point out in here that, when you look at Soto's contract compared to the 3 big contracts that have just signed in the NBA, obviously it's a longer term with Soto, but that those guys wouldn't get that. The Mets and Dodgers combined payroll this season is higher than 3 individual divisions. They're spending more than the entire AL Central, NL Central, and AL West.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Our poll question: which quarterback? You can have him for the rest of the decade. 5 more years. Which one you want? Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts? We picked these 2 not just because their first names start with the letter J. We picked them because ESPN did a player poll in which they polled over 70 NFL coaches, executives, and scouts and said rank the top 10 players at all their positions. And in the quarterback poll, Herbert came in 7th, Hurts came in 9th. And so we're asking you, 5 more years, 25, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You could have either one. Who you taking? Herbert or Hurts? That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X.
If we're still doing a show at the end of the decade, which in and of itself would be remarkable, of all the poll questions that we do, this is one I would want to look back at, because I think, and I voted for Jalen Hurts, and right now, early voting, he's getting about 70% of the votes. We just started. We just announced the poll question. David hasn't even reposted it yet. I just did. So the voting doesn't really matter right now. But it's one that, Hurts obviously has the hardware. The proof is in the pudding. He's won more. Their team's better. But as the Chargers start developing this under Harbaugh, I wonder where they're going to be by the end of the decade. I really do. I think that there's an ascension that can happen with the Chargers. And that division's going to be fascinating for the next few years, because Denver looks like they've got their act together. The Chargers look like they're going in the right direction. And how long can Mahomes and the gang in Kansas City sustain what they've been doing? So I love the question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. I am now going to get to the coolest thing I've seen today. And while I would admit this is a little bit of a cop-out, I didn't dig as hard as I sometimes do. It's got to be the Big Dumper. And
There we go.
Not because the big dumper won the home run derby. And by the way, the coolest thing I've seen today is brought to you by Air Advantage. 433-4635, 433-4635, myairadvantage.com online, myairadvantage.com. They are offering 18 months, no interest, no payments. They're a proud Rheem Pro partner, and they will take care of all your air conditioning needs, whether it's service or sales. Air Advantage. But not just because the big dumper won. I didn't think he was going to win when I found out how he made the entire thing a family affair. His dad was throwing, and his dad has coaching experience. So it wasn't like, Miller or Moulton going out there to throw for their MLB kid, and all they did was watch from the bleachers. His dad was a coach, but you're trying to groove him for your son. That's a lot of pressure on Pops to be able to throw good BP pitching. I thought a guy who actually had, their normal batting practice pitcher out there would have an advantage over Cal Raleigh. Oh, yeah, by the way, catching for Pops was Cal Raleigh's brother. So the fact that he had his dad and his brother on the field with him and then was able to deliver in the home run derby, getting to the semis by an inch.
Literally an inch. Okay, he finished tied with who was it? Brent Rooker.
Yeah.
And StatCast there, or whatever they use, said that Raleigh's longest homer traveled 0.08 of a foot further than Rooker's did, and that's 1/12 of a foot. Well, what's 1/12 of a foot? An inch. So he literally got out of the first round by an inch. Is this like Sinner at Wimbledon, down 2 sets, and the other guy ends up retiring, and then after that he won 3 matches?
Well, no one retired, fortunately, for Cal Raleigh. I will say I was rooting for Junior Caminero from the Rays, or Wood, James Wood from the Nats, or for that matter, I think it's Rooker from the A's or the Athletics now, because the money they would have made winning the home run derby is more than they're going to make for the year. Cal Raleigh in the offseason just signed a huge new contract. Good for him.
Which,
good for him, because after signing that contract, all he's done is set the team record for most home runs before the All-Star break.
Which is
passing guy you may have heard of. His name's Ken Griffey Jr.
With 36 at the break one year, right?
But Cal Raleigh doing it with family, that's the coolest thing I've seen today. That was a great story, and the fact that he delivered yesterday in Atlanta was sensational. Would be nice that all the big home run hitters would participate. They didn't. You were big on Cruz. You had talked about it leading up to the home run derby. That Skeen said in batting practice, nobody hits the ball harder. No one hit it further than he did yesterday. A 518-foot home run in a ballpark where the ball doesn't carry that far.
That's 173 yards. Golly. A baseball.
And we had it on, and my wife goes, well, how far is that? Just try to put, I said, hon, I'm like,
I'm 6 iron.
I'm trying to think of a fence anymore. The old Tiger Stadium in center was 440.
Right.
There isn't, I don't believe there's a ballpark that has a home run distance, if maybe 405, but not much more than 400 anywhere anymore.
420, I think, is the deepest, number in the 30 stadiums right now. But you're right. Tiger Stadium center field used to be, 518s, that's out of the old Polo Grounds, which was like 470 something to right center and center field. I mean, think about it. 518, Mark. Remember how tight, like I'm asking you, remember Tiger Stadium. But remember, 2-tiered? Okay, that would have been like off the top of the second deck. 518 in center field.
I was lucky enough to be at a game when Jason Thompson took one over the roof.
But that was in right field, right center field. I'm talking about if he hit that ball to straightaway center field at Old Tiger Stadium, that might, I don't know if it would have cleared, but it probably would have hit off the facing of the second deck. 518.
Monster. Monster. But Cal Raleigh with his family, that's the coolest thing I've seen today. Brought to you by Air Advantage, myaradvantage.com, myaradvantage.com. And like anytime you visit any of our great sponsors, we ask you to mention Miller and Moulton. It helps us out greatly.
All right. We only have a couple minutes, and then Greg DuCharme is going to join us. We'll start talking Open Championship. But, okay, the big dumper. What are the endorsement possibilities for the big dumper? He's already apparently, by the way, he's had this nickname since the minors. His teammate, Jared Kelenic, because of how big his butt is, called him the big dumper, and it's stuck. And he apparently has already done a commercial for Big Dumper Trucking. Okay? But what are the commercial possibilities here? You're his agent. You got to act on this, man. He's the home run derby champion. Okay? He's got 39 homers at the break. He plays for the Mariners. Okay? Not a marquee franchise, not on national TV much. What can I do here, Mark? What endorsements can we get the big dumper?
Well, I would start with Preparation H.
Oh, here we go.
Is it Kohler? I mean, they probably make the best toilet out there, or American Standard are the two big toilet companies. Charmin's had a great ad campaign for a while. They really have. They got the puffy bears there.
Right. So toilet paper. So toilets and toilet paper.
Yeah, I'm going after. No one's endorsing the toilet industry. It's an underutilized industry from an endorsement standpoint.
The Pepto, something to prevent using the big dumper.
Maybe Metamucil.
Okay.
To have a clean go. I think there are plenty of possibilities for the big dumper.
I'm just saying. I think if you're his agent, you got to act, and you got to act fast. We're just trying to help out. Greg DuCharme to talk a little golf next.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or nolanagency.com.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So I was perusing X there, and Madonna released Into the Groove today in 85.
Okay.
Or it was big today. So she didn't already release it, but she had a clip of it to look back at the album. And I forgot that, she played that at Live Aid. She was on early at Live Aid.
Yeah.
She was on during the day at Live. I mean,
Yep.
like 85, she's
Just
about to be a superstar.
right. There you go, Sonny. Porta potties. I like that. Yeah, Canada Relief, and we've talked about this, but if by chance people don't know, the first 2 picks of the second round got fully guaranteed contracts. So now all the agents for the other 30 second round picks are holding out to get their clients fully guaranteed contracts. And the other teams are like, I don't think so. So now we're a week or so away from training camp starting, and our team's going to cave, and I don't think they are. So, and some of these second round picks are really being counted on, like the Dolphins guard.
Yeah, he's starting. I mean, he's in as a starter.
Penciled in as the starting left guard. Traded up for him. Gave up 2 additional picks to move up like 7 spots to grab him. They did move in fences at Comerica. In fact, I thought they made 2 adjustments to Comerica to make it a little more hitter friendly.
We have the short 8:00 segment done too. You texted me on it over the weekend, and we didn't bring it up yesterday, and that's on us.
Okay. And I totally forget what it is that you're talking about, so that'll be good. You can wait on Greg if you want, and I'll do the Shoeless Joe's live read while you're calling him.
I'll call. I mean,
okay.
I'll just I don't ever start until about a minute and a half out, because if they answer right away, then they're sitting on hold for a while, and I don't like to do that to them. Greg's on.
Okay.
Started watching the second season of Quarterbacks yesterday. It's fun after some of the things I've heard from certain people about one of those guys, watching it with a little different perspective.
Okay. My buddy recommends the Big Dumper should sponsor Dude Wipes.
Ooh, good call.
Well played, Bob. Well played.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Greg DuCharme in a moment, but a reminder, it's a celebration week at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe at the Doubletree Bell Tower Shops in Fort Myers. Tonight and tomorrow, all kids wearing their baseball or softball jersey will eat free. All this week, they've got a special, hot dog and fries, $5, Bud and Bud Light pints on special, and they are starting 2 years early. the movement to get Shoeless Joe into the Hall of Fame. Make sure you go online, shoeless-joes.com, sign their petition, and somebody who does that is going to win free wings and beer for a year. That's a hot steaming deal, shoeless-joes.com. As mentioned, Greg DuCharme is kind enough to join us. You can follow him on X at The Real GFD, The Real GFD. You can listen to him, SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92. Also, The Second Cut golf podcast. It's outstanding. Greg, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this. How are you?
Boys, I'm doing great this morning. These are my favorite weeks of the year. I love the majors, and the Open is a special one as well, so I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Well, obviously, weather plays a big part in this tournament. Getting on the right side of the draw can be everything. Are we expecting that kind of weather this week in Northern Ireland?
I don't see right now a significant advantage as for, early, late, early. There may be a little bit of an advantage for the guys that are going out early, late, but we'll see how that plays out as the days go on. It's Tuesday right now. I'm not comfortable making any predictions with weather over there until, Thursday morning, at least Wednesday night. But I think you're going to see some wind, perhaps on Thursday and Sunday. And I think Friday and Saturday are going to be on the calm side.
Greg, you posted something yesterday which was fascinating. And you said, hey, if we look at the last 5 Open championships, all right, and look at all the trends, there's basically one of 2 guys is going to win this. Explain.
Okay, so I like to do this for the majors specifically. I look at all the last 5 winners, and I try to find something that they all had in common. Not 4 or 5, not 3 out of 5, all 5 of the guys. And I found a number of specific statistics that had to do with what they've done in the Open before, what they've done in majors, what they've done in majors this year, and some statistical analysis on their games leading in. And ultimately, it got pared down to 2 guys I did not expect. And those were Robert McIntyre and Keegan Bradley. They checked all the boxes for me. I did get a couple of comments on Keegan that he has missed his last 5 cuts in the Open Championship. Of course, that's concerning. But Shane Lowry missed 4 cuts in a row at the Open Championship before winning right here at Port Rush in 2019. So I found it to be fascinating, and I think both Keegan and Robert McIntyre would be very worthy champions this week.
They are a couple of guys that you could get some odds on, though. That's not a Scheffler, a Rahm, a Rory. Robert McIntyre and Keegan Bradley, I'm telling you from a betting standpoint, you're poised to make some money with these 2 picks, I believe.
Yeah, should it hold true. I mean, you have to be a little careful with the trends. And like I said, I always do this for majors. And this year, all the guys that have come out of the trend analysis, if you will, have finished very well. But they have not won. Maybe Scheffler at the PGA won. But otherwise, they've finished inside the top 6 or so, but have not won. So you got to be a little careful just going on trends. Fortunately, with both Keegan and Robert McIntyre, I think there's more to the story than just meeting these kind of fun trends that I like to analyze. I think they're both hitting the ball really well. Robert McIntyre had a tough go of it last week in Scotland, but I believe that was a really big event for him as the defending champion, and I think it was a little too much for him. But coming in, after going through that, I think you're going to see the ball striking we saw in the 5 weeks prior kind of resurface, and his Open Championship ability resurface. He finished tied 6th here in 2019 as well. And when you look at Keegan Bradley, he has said many times he's playing the best golf of his entire career right now, and I do believe that he would be a worthy 2-time major champion.
Greg DuCharme, SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, The Second Cut Golf Podcast. Follow him on X at The Real GFD, The Real GFD. I got to admit, I'm a little biased. I fell in love with him when he won the USAM at Pebble Beach. Victor Hovland, Okay. I mean, he's all over the place. He's great in 23, can't play golf in 24. I sense he's becoming great again.
He is becoming great again. There's a couple of things I really like about Victor's game. He has an absolute strong suit, and that this year has been his iron play. On the PGA Tour, at just about any venue, your approach play is the most important aspect. Victor's second on the PGA Tour in that category this year, and over the last 3 weeks, he's gained at least 6 shots to the field approaching the green. That's very strong. He also has a pretty strong Open Championship record. In 4 appearances, he's got 3 top 15 finishes. So he can handle links golf. His ball striking has been excellent. The one thing you worry about with Victor is his short game. And I do believe that links golf offers an opportunity to play some different kind of short game shots that don't expose the perhaps technical difficulties he may have, like we see here in the United States. So I think all things kind of lead and help Victor Hovland on a golf course like this, on a style of play like this.
Out of the big names, out of the Rorys, the Schefflers, I guess you throw DeChambeau in there and John Rahm, maybe from the Live Tour. What you just talked about is one of the reasons I like Scheffler. His creativity around the greens to get up and down impresses the hell out of me. When you look at the big boys in this tournament, the favorites, if you will, is there one you like more than the others?
Well, I always like Scotty Scheffler. Back in January, at the beginning of the year, I think I picked Scotty Scheffler to win the first 3 majors. And then somebody else, I actually think it was Robert McIntyre, to win here. Again, that was in January. The concern with Scotty is the putting. Even though he's having his best putting season of his entire career, he has not putted very well on links golf. That's the one concern. He can overcome that. But Rory McIlroy really has my attention. If you look at what he did at the U.S. Open, he had a tough opening round, got off to a slow start, still ended up finishing tied 12th. He finished tied 6th at the Travelers, and then tied 2nd last week. He is absolutely trending in the right direction. And if you think back to 2019, Rory McIlroy being from Northern Ireland, Royal Portrush being in Northern Ireland, it was a big event for him. He put a lot of pressure on himself, and he missed the cut. Made a triple bogey on his very first hole. I think there's a revenge story with Rory McIlroy going on right now, and I do see a game that's trending in the direction where he's ready to win a major championship. So if I had to choose one of those, it's really hard to get me away from Scotty Scheffler just about any week he plays, but I would lean more Rory than Scotty this week.
How tough is it for you to factor in the LIV guys? Because obviously they're not playing as often. They're not playing the courses that everyone else is playing. Okay, I'm curious, how difficult is it for you to factor in even DeChambeau and Rahm into what you do?
Well, it is definitely a challenge. And the fact that they're playing different golf courses in a different format, even though we do have access to some pretty good statistical analysis, it's hard to determine what it all means. And it becomes very difficult to compare. Like you asked me about the winning trends of the last 5 Opens. The Live guys have really put a wrench in that. Usually you could just go through and look at PGA Tour statistics and compare like and like. You can't do that anymore with the Live guys. That being said, when it comes to a John Rahm and a Bryson DeChambeau, and I would throw a Tyrrell Hatton into that kind of mix, I think those you have a pretty good handle on where those guys are. I don't question their motivation. Some of the players, I do question their motivation. I can look at their results on Live and get a somewhat of a feel for how they're playing. And then when you look at what they do in the majors, they've stepped up. So it's definitely a challenge. I wish it wasn't that way, but for probably 3 or 4 guys, I still have a pretty good feel for how they're going to perform.
And let's hope Hatton's one of those guys that performs well, because it's glorious television whenever he's on. You mentioned Keegan Bradley earlier, and you like his chances this week. Let's just say you're close to right, and he top 10s this. Doesn't he have to, at that point, doesn't he have to make himself a captain pick? We've been looking at this roster for the U.S. Ryder Cup. And, I mean, honestly, it's not a great roster. When you look at it head-to-head against the Euros, you're like, wow, this is going to be a tough home game. Keegan Bradley should be on this team. If he top 10s this week, doesn't he have to pick himself?
I believe he does. Even if let's just say he doesn't top 10 this week, but he has a strong playoff performance and he ends the cutoff date in 9th place. So that would be after the BMW Championship. We're about 5 weeks away from that. If Keegan Bradley is still in 9th in the standings, 5 weeks from now, it would be a bad choice from whoever the captain is. It would be a bad choice to leave that guy off the team. So I do believe he has to pick himself, even though he wants to focus on being the captain. He did say early on when he took that role and he was asked about the live guys specifically when he answered this question, he said, I got to take the 12 best guys. And what I find so interesting is that he is clearly one of them. I believe he's 8th in the FedEx Cup standings, which include European and international players. So he's one of the top American players. He performs extremely well in all areas of the game this season especially. He says himself he's playing the best golf of his career, and we felt like he got snubbed 2 years ago. So I don't see any way that Keegan Bradley leaves himself off of this team with the voice of his vice captains and the 6 automatic qualifiers in his ear. Keegan Bradley needs to be a part of this team.
Well, I feel the same way about Patrick Reed because I look at the U.S. roster or team right now based on rankings and think the bottom half of the team is very vulnerable. I don't think there are 12 American golfers better than Patrick Reed. Does everybody hate him that much that even if he has a good finish this week, he's just not under consideration?
I think now you go back to this question, how difficult is it to assess their ability? Patrick Reed played great golf at the Masters, but unfortunately, you need to see more than that. And again, what does a win on the Live Golf Tour mean? Really hard to determine that. When you look at Bryson DeChambeau, he's been one of the best major championship competitors over the last 2 years. It's very clear that he's one of the 12 best players. I don't think it's so clear with Patrick Reed. I have a better idea of where even Jordan Spieth, who's 25th on the list, I have a better idea where he is with his game. I have a better idea on Patrick Cantlay, where he is with his game. Sam Burns, I would put ahead of Patrick Reed as well. I think you have a lot of options that are better than Patrick Reed.
Okay.
Although I will say, he finished 10th here in 2019. If Patrick Reed puts on another really strong performance this week, then I may raise an eyebrow. But I'm not there yet with Patrick Reed.
Lastly, Royal Portrush, where they're having the tournament. How different is this than most of the links courses we see? What challenges does this course provide that maybe some of the others on the open rotation do not?
It's really a brilliant design. I love this golf course, and if you're into golf course architecture, this will be one of your favorites in the world. If you're into beautiful scenery, this will be one of your favorites in the world. When it comes to the challenge of this golf course, it's going back to the design here. This is the venue in the Open Rota with the fewest amount of bunkers. There's 62 bunkers on this golf course. To give you an idea, Royal Lytham and St. Anne's, which has the most, has 206. So there's fewer bunkers here, but they're very well positioned. And we heard both Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry talk about how well bunkered the golf course is. So those are a real hazard. They're a real penalty. So that's one of the challenges. The other thing is that the par fours are very difficult here. They were the second hardest on the PGA Tour back in 2019, all of them combined. And they're difficult for different reasons. Mm-hmm. Some of them offer just no bailout off the tee. Some of them have greens that are, on some of the longer par fours especially, you have greens that are very repellent on all sides.
Okay.
So if you hit a shot that isn't right into the heart of the green, it wants to get to the edges and it wants to roll off. And then you see some really steep runoffs. There are a lot of fairway runoffs throughout the links Rota, but this one, in my opinion, has some of the steepest fall-offs where taking putter from off the green may be a challenge.
Okay.
It may be something that you're not overly interested in. So those are some of the things I'd be looking for this week.
Greg DuCharme. Okay, SiriusXM PJ Tour Radio, CBS, and the Second Cut Golf Podcast.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Faro and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Faro and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Faro and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Moulton's making me work today. This is a tough one. A lot of guests on the last segment in the 53s. That just adds to the workload. We'll get it done. God willing, we'll come out of here with a win.
We'll put our jerseys on one pant leg at a time and hope for the best. It's all about the kids.
Unless you play for Miami Northwestern.
Hello. I will be shocked. Well, surprised. I will be very surprised if John Rahm is not in major contention this week. I love golfers who come close but don't win right before a major. Rory finished second. Rahm finished second last week. Love that.
I think, I know Rory choked like a hairy dog here last time, but Rory struggles putting at times too, and I think these greens will benefit him greatly.
I do think he's been rolling the ball. I mean, he's been working with Brad Faxon now for 3 years, and I do think Brad has really helped his putting.
He still doesn't.
He does.
He doesn't make. It's not that he misses, David. All guys miss putts. He doesn't make enough. He hits too many good irons to not make more birdies. And Shane Lowry's been playing lousy.
Yeah.
He just has. I love Shane Lowry.
Yep.
He had a great first half of this year.
He's been
and
lousy.
from the PGA on, he has not played well at all.
I'll be surprised if Sergio isn't in the top 20 this week. He's hitting the ball great. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining us today. Twitch, YouTube. Hope your week's off to a good start. Got a lot of meat on the bone for a July, what do we have, 15th? Got a lot to talk about. Hey, Team Mickey, what's Hovland, if you wouldn't mind? That's not bad on Rom. But what do we get? Can we get like 16, 18 to 1 on Hovland?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home on this Tuesday. Final hour of the show, Lake City, Live Oak and surrounding areas, Port Charlotte, Venice and surrounding areas. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Matt Moscona to join us coming up in seconds. Matt and all our guests join us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. JP Peterson in 35 minutes. Talk about the Rays sale is going to happen. Woohoo! And David Samson in an hour. But as mentioned, Matt Moscona, kind enough to join us once again. He does afternoons. He's so good. They want to hear him in both Baton Rouge and New Orleans on ESPN Radio. You can follow Matt on X at Matt Moscona, Moscona. Well, listen, first off, Matt, great to talk to you. Thanks for doing this again. And secondly, I mean, for goodness sakes, the LSU and the Ole Miss coach to get SEC Media Days going. I mean, what'd you do? Go home last night?
You know, it's interesting, guys. I don't know why, if it's been by request or if this is just how the league sets it up, but LSU has led off Media Days every year for like the last, I think maybe 7 or 8 years. So it's funny for us, for those who maybe have never been to this event or understand, when your local market is going that day, it's just an avalanche. Not only are you running around chasing the players and the coach all day and every room they're in and getting every bit of access and locked in everything they say, but it's also the day where we get pulled the most. Other media members here on Radio Row, ask if we could do interviews and so on. So it's like we roll out of bed sprinting, and then the rest of the week is just kind of like a little bit of a coast. So relative to what it is right out the jump. But yeah, LSU and Ole Miss started the day with some heavy hitters.
No doubt. And Brian Kelly has said it. This, he believes, is the best team he's had at LSU. That's a lot of pressure. And I thought it was appropriate for him to see, when asked about the season, we're singularly focused on beating Clemson, because the loser of the Clemson LSU game already has their back against the wall for the rest of the season. This is a true road game. This is one hell of a test against a team that everybody believes is clearly the best in the ACC for LSU to get the season started.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would open up at home against Rice. But LSU's lost 5 straight openers, so that was a giant talking point here yesterday was Clemson. And Brian Kelly's taking a very different tact. He's never focused on one game in a season opener like this. And he's been very adamant that when you've lost the openers the way they have, you got to change something up. And so, look, all of the pads that they hit, they put Clemson paws on them. They've got the Clemson logo, and 1-0 all over the football operations building. And they are very much targeting and embracing that one game to be ready to go. Now, I don't know if that's going to work or if that means anything. It's just interesting that you've got a coach here who's been a head coach for 3 decades who is now deciding to do something different than he's done ever in 30 plus years. And I think it indicates how significant they feel this season opener is.
How good is LSU? Is Brian Kelly right? Is this his best group? I mean, obviously he's had good quarterback play every year he's been there, obviously. Daniels and now Muss. Okay, so I'm curious, is this just to improve the defense? How good do you think this team is?
It's not even close. It's the best roster that he's had because for the first time since he's been here, they were able to go buy a roster. And it's a strange intersection of circumstance that transpired, but effectively, and I don't necessarily need to bore you with all the details, several things happened that allowed them to become very cash rich. They were very liquid in their collective in December, and they were able to go buy the best transfer portal class in the country. And this is something because they maybe don't have the marquee transfer like Oklahoma landing John Mateer, the quarterback from Washington State, that people maybe don't understand. But LSU went and signed 18 transfers, and all of them were Power 5 starters. And many of them were all-conference performers. So this is basically what Ole Miss did last year, what Ohio State did last year. They went into the portal. They went very portal heavy and bought a bunch of mercenaries. Now, how do those guys assimilate into the locker room? Seems to be going good so far. Can they gel and will it translate to the field? We'll see pretty early. But as far as just the talent on the roster, and you'll see this next April when the NFL draft rolls around, this is by far the most talented roster Brian Kelly has had both sides of the ball.
You mentioned Ohio State and Ole Miss from a year ago, and I think that's such a great comp. The other team I would throw in, and not from getting the transfers, but Notre Dame, because Notre Dame and Ohio State obviously did very well last year, but they went through injuries, particularly both teams on their offensive line, and showed that they had enough depth to get through a 16-game schedule. Does LSU, from their recruiting standpoint, I know the transfers are there, but when you look at depth on the interior of their offensive and defensive line, if they're going to have injuries, and let's be honest, Matt, all teams do over the course of a season, particularly if you're going to go deep into the playoffs, does LSU have the depth to get through? Because I don't think Ole Miss necessarily had the depth. They had a great team, but not the depth, and it ended up causing them to miss the playoff. Do you think LSU's roster not only top-heavy, but the depth enough to sustain a season?
So I disagree on Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss might have been the most talented roster top to bottom in college football last year. I think that was a Lane Kiffin problem. There were 3 games they lost that they had no business losing. Kentucky beat them. It was Kentucky's only conference win. They lost a game in Baton Rouge where they dropped a walk-in touchdown. Got a turnover at the LSU 11, came away with no points. It was just they lost to Florida on the road. You all remember that game where 3 times in the red zone they passed on field goals to go for it on 4th and short, got stopped 3 times. Kick field goals in those situations during the playoff. But anyway, the depth for LSU, I think the talent is there undeniably because they've continued to churn out top 10 and top 5 recruiting classes. What you don't have is experienced depth. I'll give you an example of a name that your listeners may not know, but so Karius Kern was a 5-star, number 1 interior offensive lineman in the country this past year. He's playing both interior and playing some left tackle. That's a really talented guy. I mean, he's a giant human that can do like a standing backflip. He's that type of athlete. He's a really talented guy. He hadn't played. So if you have to rely on a guy like that, is he ready? You only know whenever they get in the fire. But the talent at LSU through the recruiting classes is what everyone's come to expect from LSU over the 2+ decades that they've been a really good program. But the experience depth is probably, I think, the bigger question. And that's why, guys, honestly, that's why they went into the portal. It said, like, we have the 5th-year senior quarterback. We've got a lot of the pieces in place, a schedule that we like. Let's not take the chance of, are these young guys ready to step up? Let's just go get guys that have done it. And I think that's how they've blended this roster.
Matt Moscona, ESPN Radio, Afternoon Drive in New Orleans and Baton Rouge. You can follow Matt on X, Matt Moscona, Moscona. Let's just say they go 9-3, and until proven otherwise, don't get in the playoff, because we don't put teams in the playoff that have that many losses. Schedule and talent be damned. How hot does the seat then get for Brian in 2026?
So that is I think the right way to phrase it. So I cannot see a realistic scenario where Brian Kelly would get fired after this season. His buyout would be just north of $50 million. And LSU is not a program like Texas A&M that paid Jimbo $75 to go away. LSU just does not have those kinds of resources to be able to afford to do that. So as I've always said it, fellas, for better or worse, LSU and Brian Kelly are financially bound to each other for a decade. They gave him a 10-year, $95 million contract with 90% of it guaranteed. So they've got to figure it out. Now, if they struggle this year, if they don't make the playoff, and you go into 2026 and you regress, a scenario where you lose Nussmeier, you lose all these transfers that we're talking about, and you regress, I think in that situation, you could be looking for an exit strategy. What does that look like? I don't know. Maybe a lump sum payment with the balance, negotiated buyout with the balance paid out over many years, whatever that may look like. But Brian Kelly being fired after 2025, I do not see a realistic scenario where that is possible.
What's the floor for this team in your estimation? Because you look at this road schedule, Clemson, Ole Miss, Vandy, who's much better, Bama, and Oklahoma. That's no joke. I mean, that's some of the best in the SEC, and they're playing them all on the road, plus Clemson. So what's the floor?
Well, welcome to the SEC, right?
Right.
I think this team has a very high floor. Even if they lost 4 of those 5 road games, you're at 8-4. I think worst case scenario, you slip up somewhere else along the way and you're 7-5. Again, that's just a basement for this team. I mean, you've got a great quarterback in a league that, quite honestly, guys, has a lot of talent but doesn't have a lot of proven quarterbacks. I mean, you've got the one guy that's the leading returning passer in college football. It's another thing I don't think people here have realized as we've talked about that. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier is the only returning 4,000-yard passer in the country. So you've got the 5th-year senior quarterback. You've got the talented roster. It's hard to imagine a complete bottoming out. And in his career, Brian Kelly's only had that happen one time. He had a 4-win season at Notre Dame and followed it up, I think, with 5 straight 11-win seasons. So it's hard for me to imagine the bottom falling out of this team. There's too much talent, too much veteran leadership. And the other thing about the schedule is if you look at all those, whatever you would perceive to be a tough game for this team, they get a relative breather the week before. So there's no sequence on the schedule where you look at like a 2 or 3 game stretch and you go, man, how do you get through that gauntlet? Like they get an open date before Bama. They get an open date before South Carolina. They play Southeastern Louisiana before they go to Ole Miss. They play Western Kentucky before they go to Oklahoma. So the way there
Okay.
are tough games and landmines all over the place, but the way the schedule is structured actually
Gotcha.
probably helps alleviate some of the grind of that schedule.
Matt, as always, we appreciate your time and your insight. Enjoy the rest of your week in Atlanta. Matt Moscona here on Miller and Moulton.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Interesting.
Well, how many games lost, Adam? I don't really. You're kind of speaking in two directions there. How many games will it take to keep him off his back? How many games does he lose to keep him on their back? Part of me thinks Billy's got to win at least 8 this year.
Wait, you're asking
Right. I don't get what he's like. It's
for them to I mean, to not make a bowl, they'll want him fired.
But if he's 6-6, they're not going to be happy.
Well, they're not going to be happy, but the problem is
they'll want his head again if he's 6-6. I'm not saying they'll fire him, David.
Right.
But if he's 6-6, like the question you asked Matt about Kelly, if they're 6-6, his seat might be the hottest in the country to start the next year.
Yeah, if he goes 6-6, they may find a way to raise the money, but
not with DJ coming back for one more year, though.
No, I was talking about LSU.
No, I know. 6-6, they'll fire him. I'm not saying that for LSU.
But
I'm just saying the same question you asked of Matt.
Yes,
I think is what he's asking of us, but he kind of phrased it in a way that doesn't make sense to me.
No, San Diego, I don't. I think Gator fans just tired of living in mediocrity, and they'll be like, seriously? How many years do we have to give this guy? Okay. Now, listen, I think the AD did him no favors with the schedule that he inherited. And that was absurd. And I'd have to think going forward that Florida's SEC schedule is going to get a little easier. This is the completion of last year. All these teams are home and home. Ole Miss, Texas, they always do LSU. But I think if they lost to Florida State to finish 5-7, he'd be fired.
I agree with that.
But if they go to a bowl because of the status of the quarterback, they'll keep him.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. JP Peterson, a little more than 15 minutes time here on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Our poll question today, ESPN polled over 70 NFL coaches, executives, and scouts and asked them to rank the top 10 players at every position. They are releasing their poll results daily. The first one they released yesterday was the quarterback results. But Justin Herbert came in as the 7th best quarterback in the league. Jalen Hurts came in as the 9th best quarterback in the league. We ask you, you can have either one for the rest of the decade, 5 more years. Which one you taking, Herbert or Hurts?
Who'd you vote for, by the way?
Hurts.
I did as well.
I'll take
the proof is in the pudding.
I'll take the proven, known commodity. I'm sure Herbert's ceiling is higher. I'll take what I know and what I feel consistently I'm going to get. Now, I'm not the whole winning. The winning stat on a quarterback is very dangerous. It is. It's real easy to say, well, hell, Hurts has gone to 2 Super Bowls and Herbert hasn't even won a playoff game yet. Yeah, Justin Herbert hasn't played behind what Jalen Hurts has played behind. I mean, come on, let's be real.
And we'll see what Harbaugh builds with the Chargers. And I do think it's a poll question. There's part of me that wants to just archive this one and bring it up every year around this time.
That's fair enough.
See what the vote is, if you know what I mean. Because they're obviously both going to be quarterbacking their teams for the rest of the decade without injury happening. And we'll see the fate of each of these organizations over the next few years. But David, first off, I have something to aspire to after that last interview.
Okay.
I was able to get on the phone with Matt a little earlier. I try not to put these guys on hold for a long time. So I apologize to anybody who's ever produced this show over the course of the last 16, 17 years when David and I have harped about, get the guest on the line, get the guest on the line. And they're like, yeah, whatever, leave me alone. But I called Matt a little earlier We've had Matt on for years. We've developed at least a little bit of a relationship with Matt. And so I'm talking to him and I'm like, how's the summer been? And obviously with LSU baseball being a huge deal there. I mean, people have no idea just how big LSU baseball is, not only in Baton Rouge, but around the state of Louisiana. So their run to the College World Series gave him a lot of content. But he said, I said, you get any vacation time in? Yeah, he says, I went to the beach for a week. And I said, the wife and I are going to Mexico City or something, like going to Mexico next week. And I'm like, 2 vacations? He goes, well, I went to Boston for a few days too to catch a Red Sox-Yankees game. So 3 vacations in one summer for Matt Moscona. That's what I aspire to.
Well, that's how successful his show is, Afternoon Drive in New Orleans and Baton Rouge.
I don't think there's a better time to say, if you're looking to sponsor a great radio show, text me at 21,000 now. The keyword's Miller. We've got a deal for you. But David, you sent me a text over the weekend. You and I and our first producer have been on a text chain for, 17 years. And you sent a text to us over the weekend that I didn't even really respond to looking back upon it. And for that, I apologize. I just had in fact, it was our producer that sent it. You had a 1-word response. I had a 2-word response. And it was dead. That was it. But after spending a week on my vacation on the lake and having one rainy day, we played a lot of games with the family. We played a dice game called Left, Right, Center. We have another dice game that we just simply call Dice. You played at 10,000. I have no idea what the name of that game is. We call it Dice at our house. We played some Mexican Train, which is a dominoes game. And we played some Uno. My daughter loves Uno. Who hasn't played Uno with their kids? But now, Uno is being added in Vegas. The Palms Casino Resort has set up a Uno social club at their casino in Vegas. And I think I'm all in.
Really?
Yes. As a matter of fact.
I think this is the equivalent of when the Olympics added all the X Game events. I really do. Okay. This is now going to lead to 5 other games being added over the next 5 years. And this to me is laughable.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a game that most people have played their whole lives, they can now gamble on. And you, David Moulton, because your stance on gambling has been pretty one-sided as long as I've known you. And now you're coming against Uno as a table game, and it's a social game. There are 3 different ways you can play it. I'm not exactly sure how the wagering goes, but I'm willing to find out.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm totally against this. Okay. I love playing it on vacation, love doing it, with friends. That's different. But no, come on. We're here to play cards. Okay. We're here to win some money. No. Okay. Come on. Uno. Okay. Please. Get the drunken people. Uno! Oh, shut up. Seriously. Let's go.
So, on a similar note, you may or may not have seen the story, but the World Series of Poker is going on right now. They're getting down, I think they're down to the last couple dozen. They're probably less than that after yesterday. But they barred a guy.
Right. He took too long. Apparently, he was the human rain delay. He's the Patrick Cantlay of the World Series of Poker.
But he's also a smack talker. He doesn't shut up.
Right.
He tries to get into guys' heads, and he's chirping the entire time. So I would love to be because my daughter and my wife doesn't even like to play Uno with my daughter and I, because it is a smack talking session from the word go between my daughter and I. It is no holds bar. It is G-rated, obviously. She's 11. And we've been doing this for the better part of 4 years. but we go at it. I mean, we verbally go at it.
Right.
To the point in which my wife has said, I don't like playing with you two because all you two do is jaw jack the entire time that you play. And that's part of the fun for us. So I think, one, I don't like them barring the guy talking smack. The slow play thing, fine, but it had more to do with everything involved with that guy than it just did. And I don't know how many characters there are playing poker anymore. There seemingly used to be a lot more.
Well, Mark, this is how annoying that guy is. They not only banned him from the World Series of Poker, they banned him from all WSOP events for the rest of the year.
Right.
I mean, he can't play in any of these suckers till 2026. That's how annoying. When they say see you in 6 months, when you've got cash to pay the entry fees, you're annoying. Yeah, this to me is minor league. This is a promotion you do in single A and double A. Okay? No.
Okay, let me just ask you a question, David, because I think you're someone that likes games of skill versus games of chance. Maybe you're not. But I, played poker with you. You like playing poker. That's a game of skill. It's not a game. You have to have luck, but you have to have luck to win a Super Bowl. Let's be realistic here.
Right.
So more skill involved in playing Uno or pulling the lever or hitting the button on a slot machine?
Well, you make a dadgum good point. Now, fortunately, I don't play the slots. Okay, but you make a dadgum good point. Okay, you do. I mean, if you're going to have slots in there, can you really get all bent out of shape about Uno? Probably not. But I don't play the slots because I just don't find it intellectually stimulating, I guess. I'd rather lose my money sitting. I'd rather lose big money quickly, okay, than little bit of money over 7 days, I guess. Miller and Moulton. J.P. Peterson is next.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or nolanagency.com. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Miller and Moulton would like to thank the sponsors that, quite frankly, saved the show in 2024. Whether it was Floor Meisters, American Paint Supplies, Glass Doctor, Molly Maid, Cigar Bar, Sleep Treatment Direct, the Diamond District, and even the Cape Coral Police Department, thank you. We're hopeful of a great 2025, still needing sponsors, so reach out to Miller and Moulton via X at that Mark Miller or the David Moulton, or text us at 21,000. But Miller and Moulton says thank you to our sponsors and to you, our loyal listeners.
This is Miller and Moulton.
David, that segment generated the best text we've received, best text or call we've received since the guy was asked by you, have you ever killed a guy? And I'm almost bummed that we have JP on and I can't do 4 minutes on this text.
So
we may go back to it. No, because we got JP next.
No, I meant right now during the
I
YouTube
might-
and Twitch here.
I was going to say I might save it for 9:21.
Okay.
ESPN hasn't run the World Series of Poker in a long time, though, have they, Puck? I mean, that's I don't think. I could be wrong.
Well, they've never run it live, Puck. And yeah, I don't think they've had it in like close to 10 years. Yeah, I don't know that they do it live because guys can take too long. And I know they've put clocks on them and all that, but I think they've turned it around quickly. But I don't know that they've done it live. I could be wrong. Yeah, Phil Ivey was a thing till he got accused of cheating. Hasn't really recovered from it either.
I don't know if the Scheffler's from this morning, but he gave a really thoughtful answer.
I watched it during last commercial break. Very thoughtful.
I mean, that's a deep answer right there.
It is.
We might save that and do that tomorrow morning at like 7. Play it and go.
Yeah.
We don't have time to do it today. All right, I got to call this guy. JP's ready.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour, and that's when David Samson will make his weekly appearance here on Miller and Moulton. JP Peterson in the on deck circle. A reminder, Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe. Hey, I think it's a Hall of Fame sports bar, but they want to make sure their namesake Shoeless Joe gets in the Hall of Fame. So beginning tonight, stop on by Shoeless Joe's at the Doubletree Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. All kids tonight and tomorrow who wear some form of their baseball jersey eat for free, or softball jersey for that matter. All this week, specials on a hot dog and fries, on Bud and Bud Light pints, and sign the online petition, shoeless-joes.com. You could win free wings and beer for a year. Help get Shoeless Joe Jackson into the Hall of Fame. Shoeless Joe's, shoeless-joes.com. He does the best sports show for the Tampa St. Pete market, period. He does it 10 to noon weekdays. He does it on YouTube, on the FanStream Sports app, and on fanstreamsports.com. He is JP Peterson. You can follow him on X at JP Peterson Show. JP Peterson Show. And when there's breaking news like yesterday, he does special on-the-fly podcasts as well. JP, it's David and Mark. Good morning. So you got to feel pretty good after all this, right? I mean, you sucked. You were wrong. You didn't know what you were talking about. Turns out you were 100% right.
Well, if you listen to terrestrial radio in this town, that's what you would have heard. But you also would have heard a lot of misinformation about the Rays sale as well. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys giving me the credit. A lot of folks in this market do not, but that's all right. We got a lot of loyal listeners, and we thank them and all our sponsors for allowing me to do what I do. And it's fun not being tethered to terrestrial radio, so I can do all the things we do. So I love it. And thank you guys very much for having me on and supporting my work. I really, really appreciate it. You bring me a lot of credibility. That's all I'm saying. When I get on Miller and Moulton, people listen. That's all I'm saying.
Wow, that's the best compliment we've ever received, JP, and we don't get that many. Hey,
True.
What is now? Let's just try to move past the sale. This looks like it's a done deal finally. What do the next 3 years look like for the Rays? Where will they play? How long before we break ground on a stadium somewhere? What does now the new future of the Rays look like in your best estimation?
See, that's why you guys are pros. You move the story forward. I love this. That's what we like to do. Now, what I'm about to say, educated guesses, all educated guesses. I've talked to some people in the new ownership group sparingly, okay? They've been very tight-lipped, but this is what I can tell you. First and foremost, they want to add payroll, significant payroll. They point to the way that Sternberg has run this club, taking all the profit out of the team and never putting the money back into the team. The Rays could have easily afforded to go to 150, 160 in payroll every year, but Sternberg decided to keep the money. These guys are going to put the money into the team, and I can tell you this, they're already working within the organization, Major League Baseball, and perhaps part of this new ownership group in by proxy, okay? So I believe they're going to hit the ground running. You might be able to see a significant addition in payroll at the deadline, which is something Sternberg rarely did. Never did significant. I'm talking significant. If they wanted to add a player that had a $17 million a year salary, you might know who I'm talking about, Neander would be able to pull the trigger on that deal. And I'm talking about Acuna from the Braves. Long shot, the Rays would have to give up a lot to get him. I had John Smoltz on my show last Friday. We talked about this. He said Acuna could be had for a huge haul, but the Rays have the starting pitching to pull it off. So just things like that this group wants to do. They'll add payroll. Where they're going to play, I think they'd rather play at Steinbrenner Field than Tropicana Field, but I think that's going to be more up to Major League Baseball, to be quite honest with you. But I know the players would like to stay at Steinbrenner, and I know the fans would love them to stay at Steinbrenner. There is an option, I know, at the beginning of next year, and maybe to play all at next year, but I think that's still very much up in the air.
Well, the city of St. Petersburg contractually is on the hook to get the Trop built and have the Rays finish out their lease, which is 3 more years. So in theory, couldn't the city of St. Petersburg pay the Rays rent to stay at Steinbrenner Field?
Yeah.
And now the Yankees went out of their way to say, we're being nice. We're going to do this for 1 year and 1 year only for $15 million. But money talks, JP. If the Yankees say we'll do it for 3 more years, but it's 25 a year, the city of St. Petersburg has no choice. They got to pay that.
Right, they do. They have to. They're contractually obligated to provide a major league facility. So this would qualify, because it qualified this year, to fulfill that contract. We also know the city of St. Pete does not want to repair the Trop. They have to repair the Trop because the previous ownership, the Rays, are making them. So this new ownership group may say, "Hey, we'll take the settlement if you pay for us playing at Steinbrenner Field." These are all maybes, okay, but they are allowed contractually by the lease. So yes, I think that's something that they would want to do and could do. Because I just don't see how the Trop is going to be repaired, certainly by the beginning of next season. And the cost is, at least $60 million, could be as high as $100 million. Nobody knows until they get in there and really do it. And they're going to knock it down, because this group is going to build in Tampa. Like I've been telling you since February, they are focused in Tampa. This Zalupski met with Daryl Shaw. My sources have told me this. Daryl Shaw is the owner of the Ybor Harbor and other parcels in Ybor where the stadium could go. Doesn't mean it's definitely going there, but I know Zalupski has met with Daryl Shaw.
That's obviously choice one. I would imagine the fairgrounds is choice two. How different does the difference in where the stadium's built, how much does it matter? I mean, we're not in Tampa. You are every day. I went to one game this year at Steinbrenner Field. It's hot. That can't last forever. I mean, and obviously the schedule quirks and all that. Choice A, Ybor. Choice B, fairgrounds. Are there other choices?
Yes, there are other choices. Ken Hagan has told me there are other places that have not been mentioned. So I can only speculate as to where that might be. It could be. It's not going to be next to Ray J. But the people have talked about the old dog track area. But I think it's there or the fairgrounds. I think, yeah, absolutely. It's one of those. It's either Ybor or the fairgrounds. I'm almost certain of that. And now Jane Castor, the mayor, who has previously been kind of lukewarm about it, has been much more aggressive in her tone about getting the Rays here. And if it is at the fairgrounds, that would not qualify for city money because it's outside the city limits. So, last time they did this, the city was not kicking in any money. It was all county dollars. So I think the mayor seems to sound like she wants it in the city limits, and that would be Ybor.
JP Peterson, host of the JP Peterson Show, weekdays 10 to noon. FanStream Sports app, YouTube, and FanStreamSports.com. Follow JP on X at JP Peterson Show. Patrick Zalupski, by the way, will be the front man, the new owner, the Stu Sternberg, if you will, of the Rays. He's a Jacksonville real estate guy, Patrick Zalupski. He's very tight with DeSantis, okay? DeSantis in the state legislature has been very hard line about no money for sports complexes. Do we think now life could be different?
Yes, it's called politics, right? Yes, these two guys are friends. He has supported DeSantis' candidacy. He put him on the board at UF. I'm talking about Zalupski now. So, yes, they're very tight. And now DeSantis has said he would kick in for infrastructure, but not the stadium. Now, that could be a little bit of gray area right there. What is infrastructure? What is stadium? But I think that would definitely be part of it because he said that he would. And I think in this situation, he definitely would. The state would put in for infrastructure. So in Ybor Harbor, which I think would be the best spot on the water there, would be absolutely magnificent. A huge mixed-use commercial, residential, right there where the cruise ships come in would be absolutely fabulous. It would be iconic, aspirational, inspirational. I think that's where this group is looking to put it, quite frankly.
The Lightning did such a great job in what they've done in and around Amalie Arena. Does Ybor City need that type of renovation? Like I said, I'm not a Tampa guy. I've been there. It's been a while. Used to have a lot of fun there in another lifetime. Does it need it?
No, it doesn't need it. It doesn't need it at all. It's in fact, Daryl Shaw, who's the huge developer in Ybor City, has been waiting for baseball for 8 years, and he's held a lot of this property back, hoping one day that they would find, Sternberg would be deposed, and they could finally get a deal done, and that appears to be happening. So, no, Ybor doesn't need it, but it would be fantastic because it would clean up Ybor. It's an unbelievable spot in terms of historical architecture and great restaurants and everything, but it's dogged by crime, late night shootings. That all needs to be cleaned up. And I think if a stadium was put in there would be a huge effort into gentrifying that entire area. Already, prices in that real estate are already going up. And I think it would completely change the face of Ybor City to a much more beautiful and safe place, and not the kind of late night crazy that it is right now. And I think that would be awesome.
Hey, in our remaining moments, can I do something very dorky and actually talk baseball? The
Like,
Rays,
really?
the Rays payroll. I'm sorry, what, JP?
He said, yeah, he's
I
questioning
said,
you.
you talk about on the field? Yeah.
Okay.
That would be great.
Only one factor. The Rays payroll is $88 million. Their cash outlay is $91 million. And you're saying that this new ownership group is prepared from day one to take 88 to $150?
I won't say day one, but eventually get there. That would be silly day one, because then you're just spending money to spend money. This team actually doesn't need that much payroll. And I think they even if they added 25 million, it's a World Series contender. So I'm not saying they're going to take it right to 150. But I think eventually their goal is to be first of all, not to be a welfare handout team like Stu always wanted to be, but to be a major market team that they are. We're the 11th largest market with the 15th largest market right down the road. This should not be a welfare team that's getting revenue sharing. And that's one of the big reasons Major League Baseball has been driving this ownership change. So yeah, I think absolutely that's what they've said. And they're not in this like Stu is to make money. They're in it because they love Tampa Bay and they want to see baseball done right here, because it's never been done right with good ownership and a stadium that is state of the art in the right location. That's what we need. That's what we're going to get.
All right. What's the one move? They're not in the playoffs at the break. They're just outside of the playoffs. Give me the one move they have to make between now and the end of the month to be a team that we think can be a wild card team or even win the division.
Big bat. They need a big bat, and that could be Acuna. I think it's a long shot, but it's possible. It's a big splash. I know this new group would love to do something like that. It could be O'Hearn from the Orioles. They've already made one trade with the Orioles, so they're willing to trade in division. They need a big bat in the outfield, and I think that would be a perfect combination. Make this lineup way thicker. And I think when they've swooned because they lost Brandon Lau. You take one big bat out of the lineup and you can pitch around guys, you pitch around Caminero, and that's why they have been struggling to score runs. So I think the pitching's going to be fine. Snyder always figures it out. He's got a lot of good arms. McClanahan's coming back. A couple other guys are coming back. They'll figure out the pitching, but their offense, I still think, needs a little jolt.
All right, I could be going on a limb here, but I know you're on Bluetooth. Is there a dog in the front seat of the car with you right now?
You are 100% correct. That is Tally the Wonder Dog, and yes, that's not. It's a dog.
Fantastic. He did a wonderful job on the interview. I thought he added a lot to it and made this a lot more worthwhile. JP, thanks so much for your.
We're hot and bothered here. We're getting a new owner, man. We're hot and bothered. It's foaming at the mouth. It's awesome.
It is truly the dog days of summer with JP.
JP was right.
JP Peterson was right, and his dog is foaming at the mouth. The JP Peterson Show, weekdays 10 to noon. FanStream Sports app, FanStreamSports.com, and YouTube. It is the best sports show in the Tampa St. Pete market. JP, safe travels. Thanks for doing this.
Nice guy. I'll shoot you a pic of both of us. You can post it.
Outstanding. Can't wait.
JP Peterson Show. Follow him on X.
When I heard the panting, I'm like, is that a window down? Does he have the dog in the car with him? It is truly the dog days of summer here on Miller and Moulton. Our poll question today is, which quarterback would you want to start for your team for the rest of the decade? Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts. Go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, or Miller_Moulton on X to vote. David Samson next. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or nolanagency.com.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh, no!
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks slide peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and one replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor. A neighborly company.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Miller and Moulton are very grateful to you, the listeners, for making us one of the highest rated shows for men, because the working man is one of the toughest demos to reach, and we do. Great sponsors like Floor Meisters, American Paint Supplies, Glass Doctor, Sleep Treatment Direct, Game Day Men's Health, and Molly Maid recognize that, and we thank them. And if you own a business and working men are your clientele, the most cost-effective way to reach them is through us. Text Miller and Moulton at 21,000 or directly via X at that Mark Miller or the David
This
Moulton.
is Miller and Moulton.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you holding up?
I am okay. What's going on with you? How you doing?
Great day today. I feel terrific today.
That makes me happy.
So I've had like 3 of these days this month.
In a row, or
well, I had
ever?
2 in a row, and then I think I've got a little something figured out, which has made a difference. So, and I got away from it for a couple days just to kind of test it and I didn't feel as well. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go back to this, and it works. So
that will make you one of the lucky ones if you can figure that out.
Yeah. So we were having some fun. I don't know if you had some fun with it on the show or if you're going to save it for Le Batard, because this is definitely a Le Batard material. We wondered if you're the big dumper and you're his agent. Okay. I mean, you play in Seattle, so you're not going to get a lot of national. I mean, the time is now. You got to strike while the iron's hot. What endorsements? How far are you willing to go with the big dumper?
I assume the major one would be Pampers.
Well, you name it, okay? Toilet paper, the
waste management.
The Porta Johns.
I like the waste management.
Right.
I was big on Preparation H.
Right. I mean, how far do we want to go with this?
All the way, May.
All the way, May.
Why wouldn't you?
So speaking of all the way, May, since that's Madonna, I was going through I saw an X post today. Into the Groove was released today in 85, and it showed a clip of Madonna at Live Aid. And she wasn't a superstar at Live Aid. She was on early. She was about to be a superstar. It was remarkable to watch that and go, oh my goodness.
She was the biggest crush of my
you and
1984 borderline. That
the Lucky Star video was it for me. The Lucky Star video was a touch dirty, and I went, I like her. I like her a lot.
I like her a lot.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, David. Right there with you.
I try not to pay attention to her now because I want to freeze her in those moments.
Yes, 100%.
And I don't want to believe what happened to it because it ain't great.
It never is. There are very few of us that age gracefully.
Well, but also
for every Elizabeth Hurley picture there is on X at 60, there are plenty more to run from.
Well, but she went plastic surgery crazy too, and it's been a disaster, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So true plastic surgery story. There was a sales manager when David and I both worked at the station I'm at now. We had to report to a sales manager every morning because we did sales and a show. And our sales manager had a bunch of work done, and I walked into her office to meet with her. I go, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to meet with Dawn. And it was her. I'm like, I think I lost my job.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It's that day and time again when we welcome David Samson on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. David Samson does his national show 7 a.m. for nearly 2 hours, weekdays. And it's televised an hour later on the DraftKings Network. You can actually see right now hour 2 of David's show while he's also appearing on Miller and Moulton. Follow David on X at David the letter P Sampson, David P Sampson. It's nothing personal with David Sampson. That is the name of his show. Good morning. How are you?
I am great. I very much enjoy All-Star Week. I love the Home Run Derby. I love the All-Star Game. I love the 2-day break after the All-Star Game. No more of these two teams have to play on Thursday. Everybody's off till Friday. And then you start the stretch to the best month of the year, which is October.
And the Home Run Derby was great. The Cal Raleigh story with his dad pitching, his brother catching. I didn't think he was going to win because of that. I thought the whole family dynamic may hurt him. He won. But outside of Cal Raleigh, a lot of the big name home run hitters don't appear in the Derby. Can Major League Baseball do anything to entice the Ohtanis and the Judges and those of that ilk to perform in the Home Run Derby?
Well, Judge has performed, and he won it at Marlins Park in 2017. And it's very much like the NBA Slam Dunk Contest, where we long for the days when it was Jordan and Dominique Wilkins and all of the great players who would do it. And now you haven't heard of anyone. And the guy who wins it every year is a guy not even in the NBA. And you just say to yourself, wow, is this an exhibition? What happened is that players didn't want to do it because there was the discussion within owners' meetings of the union thought there was some sort of home run derby curse where it hurts your swing badly enough that you slump in the second half, and owners didn't want their players to do it, and agents didn't want their players to do it. And it became this big thing. And I disagree completely. Your season does not get hurt. You're tired. I remember talking to Stanton after he won it in 16. We were on the plane back from San Diego the next night after the All-Star game, and he was exhausted. And so it's a lot more tiring than the slam dunk contest to me. I'm not sure there's a more tiring, even the three-point contest or the skills competition. I think the home run derby is the most tiring because of all the swings, which is why I thought Junior Caminero had an advantage going into the final round, because he had much fewer swings during the course of the night last night. But I think it's one of those things where even $1 million, it's great for the minimum guys, but $1 million is not what it used to be. And so it's hard to convince people to do it because they don't need the money and they'd rather not have the stress. And they certainly don't want to Jazz Chisholm it. They certainly don't want to get into the Derby and hit 3 home runs in the first round and get embarrassed. So there's all of those different factors.
Do you think there are any more changes that will be made between now and the end of the decade in either the home run derby or the All-Star game itself?
So let's talk about the Derby. I think that one of the issues we have is that the best part of the Derby is the bonus round of each guy, where there is no clock, where it's by outs. And it used to be that you had 10 outs. And the problem is they couldn't really control the broadcast, and they couldn't figure out how long people would be doing it, when the commercials would be. When they put time in, then it was obvious when the breaks were and how long everything would take, and they could script everything out, because the bonus rounds are not timed, but they're only 3 outs, sometimes 4 if you hit a long bomb. I'd like to see him go back to that, where it's not timed and where you can see people actually have crazy rounds.
Okay, well, this is ESPN's last year right now contractually for the home run derby. So the rumor is like NBC wants to take over. And so in theory, like the home run derby next year could be on Peacock. Do you think that that would matter? If you're streaming, you don't really care about time and commercial breaks.
It's such a great point. The question is, though, will it only be on Peacock? Will they want to put it on big NBC? Will that be one of the allures, having the home run derby on an over-the-air network? Or that would be a huge thing for baseball. Time, the problem is we're in this business, in the television business, whether you think you're a radio guy or not. Here we are on camera. We are TV products. The clock matters, and the attention span of people matters. I didn't have a hard time sitting for 3 hours watching the Derby at all last night. I thought there were enough compelling stories that kept me interested, and you never know what you're going to see. And I didn't know that I really didn't pick Junior Caminero. I didn't realize, and you know, watch him play. You watch 4 at-bats a day, but not every day. And you don't realize, you know, what a perfect home run derby swing that is. And you think to yourself, what can we do? And to me, it's about outs, not time. And for the All-Star game, let me answer that. We have a problem. The problem is, like in other exhibition games, the stars start, and then the majority of played time goes to the replacements and goes to the people who were not voted in by the fans, because those voted in by the fans have left the building before the end of the game. I would like to see the rule changed, where if you are an all-star, you're there for the game. You can't fly out during the game. And I'd like to see replacement players allowed, which means when you are taken out for a pinch hitter in the 4th inning after 2 at-bats and you're Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani, I want the rule to be it's an exhibition game where they can come back and pinch hit later in the game, which would guarantee that a 9th inning would be a great closer against the best of the best all-stars. It's like the golden at-bat rule, which is one that I love, which is enabling a pinch hitter of your choice in the 9th inning, regardless of batting order. But certainly that should be the case in the All-Star game.
Well, you know, you bring up the golden bat. It is the time of year where baseball writers are writing about all of the ways to fix the sport. Salary cap, what the new TV deal should look like. We've talked about it a lot on this show, that there is an impasse, not just between the union and the owners, but between the owners, and the spending fluctuations between the Dodgers and Mets and those of the Rays and Marlins. Do you think there's going to be any headway between the owners to look at something like a salary cap for the new CBA?
I'm obviously worried about that because that's going to cause a long lockout. And I just did a segment on Nothing Personal, which you can watch live in 40 minutes, but don't because you're watching your show. But you can listen to it whenever you want and find it on YouTube. But one of the issues that I have is that you're talking about a sport where I think Tony Clark and Rob Manfred need to look at each other and say, we need a path to peace. Because right now their path is a path to war. And that war is going to come at the expense of fans and players alike. Owners will get through it, as management always does when there is a labor war. But I think that there is a real problem coming. So, other issue, the Tampa Bay Rays are being sold for $1.7 billion. That means that there's a new owner coming in who has a $1.7 billion base investment, getting a new ballpark in Tampa, hopefully, looking at the game and saying, for me to hit my numbers, for there to be attendance in Tampa, we have to have a reasonable shot year in and year out and not just depend on our front office being the best in the business. And so these batch of new owners who have come in at a higher cost than the old timers who bought the teams for $100 million, that's going to cause even more entrenched positions because the small market teams that are sold, whether it's the Orioles, the Rays, the Twins that are trying to be sold, the Nationals at some point are going to be sold, those new owners are actually going to be less inclined to have a debt to Rob Manfred for peace, and they'll be more inclined to fight, and that worries me a lot.
The players will never agree to a salary cap, and I mean never. I
Why?
mean, like,
why?
Why?
Because it literally goes back to Marvin Miller. They've never agreed to it. It's non-negotiable. You know that. Okay, here's the other thing. The floor would have to be 180 million.
No.
200 million. It would have to be high.
It would have to be higher than where several of the teams are, and there'd have to be a way to fund those teams because, contrary to what everyone thinks, those teams are not running at a profit. So you can't ask teams to be in a loss position in order to get to the minimum.
Quickly, the Brewers' payroll this year is 108 million. How much money are the Brewers making? 50 million?
No chance. There's no chance that they are pocketing $50 million.
They're
None
getting that
at all.
They're getting that from the Dodgers, Yankees, Mets.
You're forgetting about all the other expenses, David. You're forgetting about what it is to run a team and operate a stadium, to run a minor league team. It's not just player payroll. It's the expense. You're forgetting about what it is to keep up with the Joneses off the field in the training room.
Hold on. If we see that a payroll is 108 million, are they spending another 108 million on the rest of the organization?
Guaranteed.
Okay, well, I'm asking. I don't know.
Guaranteed.
You've run these things. We haven't.
The expenses would blow your mind about what you have to pay for with your front office. Just think about the millions of dollars that have to be invested every year into your analytics department, into things like a pitching machine, which is like $500,000. That's ridiculous, that tries to imitate every single pitcher in baseball, these new things that they've come up with. It is lunacy. So from my standpoint, you're right. A salary cap seems crazy, except every other sport has it.
And it benefits more players, as particularly if there's a floor. This is the part I don't get. They are trying to benefit Juan Soto and not, Brandon Lau. It doesn't
the craziest
make sense
thing ever,
to
Mark.
me that they want to take care of the top 5%, top 2%, and they don't give a damn about everybody else.
That is the issue when Scott Boras was running the executive council, is that he cares about the top end of his clients. It happens in politics. It happens in our country where they care far more about the rich than they do about the middle class, and the middle class disappears. The union, here's a shocker, is comprised of the majority middle class. At best, you're lucky if you make it to arbitration. They should be focusing on what the minimum salary is. They should be focused on what the minimum payroll is, and way more interested in that. And for me, a floor would be way more important. And I would give a cap if I were the players in order to get a floor, because if you look at teams and the makeup of teams, so many players are making the minimum. I remember running the Marlins when they moved the minimum up $50,000. That cost me $4 million right there, because of all of the different players we have at the minimum throughout the course of a season. So these things actually matter, and that's why this negotiation is going to be so interesting.
David Samson. Nothing Personal with David Samson for nearly 2 hours every day, live beginning at 7 a.m. And then it's rebroadcast in its entirety beginning at 8 a.m. on the DraftKings network. You can follow David on X at David, the letter P Samson, David P. Samson. You know, we'd only love to do an hour more on this, right?
Well, I got news for you. We're going to have plenty of time to do it. And I want to tell you that I'm advocating for you guys to have a floor.
You're not the only one.
We do. It's $4. Just so you know. And we're barely
subfloor, David.
Right. And we're barely above it, by the way. So I appreciate the thought. Okay. We look at the Marlins and go, now that's a rich franchise.
Your
Miller and Moulton.
self-deprecation knows no bounds. It really is incredible.
No, you think we're funny. Sometimes the truth is hysterical.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh, no!
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks lie peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and one replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor. A neighborly company.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hey, Mickey there, you seem to be new in the Twitch chat room. If you're not, I apologize, but I don't remember seeing a lot of your posts before. And it looks as if you said you're in South Carolina. Where in South Carolina are you? Just curious. And how the hell did you find us? Big Coastal Carolina fan, are you, Mickey? All right. All right. A Cyclone, not a Hawkeye. Indiana cancels home-and-home series with Virginia. They've got to pay Virginia $500,000 for canceling. Instead, Indiana has added games with Kennesaw State, Austin Peay, and Eastern Illinois. Getting more wins from the Mickey, getting more wins. Instead of having the possibility of playing a good team in a home and home, they want a gate and a W. It's a joke. No, this is football, and it came from Brett McMurphy. I've got this at least segment started, David.
Okay.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. This segment brought to you by Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe. With a Hall of Fame quesadilla, the Hall of Fame Sports Bar wants to get their namesake, Shoeless Joe, into the Hall of Fame. They're beginning an online petition. Go to shoeless-joes.com, shoeless-joes.com. And just by voting, you could win free wings and beer for a year. Today and tomorrow, all kids wearing a baseball or softball jersey will eat for free all week. There's a special on hot dogs and fries, Bud and Bud Light pints on special. Shoeless Joe's, the Doubletree, Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. Make sure you go to shoeless-joes.com and sign the online petition.
Rumor has it if David with his live reads does a good enough job for Shoeless Joe's, they will change the name of the quesadilla to the Moulton quesadilla. That's just a rumor. We'll keep you updated.
I believe if we generate enough business, I worked it into the deal where we get free quesadillas for the rest of the year, but we have to get, a big number of signups, and they have to, a bunch of kids in the next 2 nights walking in jerseys. Okay. It was in the email between us and Shoeless Joe's, something about free quesadillas if the advertising works.
I think we've saved all my daughter's softball jerseys. I'll just put her in a different one every night. We'll stroll in for a bite. An hour ago, David, you and I did our segment on a new game on the tables in Vegas. That game is Uno.
Right.
You are adamantly against it. You basically think it's a decline of Western civilization, while I am for it. It led to the following text, and skip our discussion on Uno. Gentleman texted in, I actually love Uno. I don't know how seriously I could take it in Las Vegas, but it sure would be pretty damn fun. I actually played Uno a hell of a lot when I was incarcerated for a few months in Lee County. There's some real smack talk going on in the games, and there actually is wagers on them too. To which I responded, incarcerated Uno games should be televised. And he said there was only one fight that happened because of Uno, believe it or not. But it's good to know that at least at the Lee County Jail, they allow them to have Uno cards.
I agree. I think that's fantastic. By the way, I have no problem with incarcerated Uno being televised. I just don't want it in my Vegas casino. That's all. Or my Biloxi casino. Or, how far do we want to go here? That's all.
Telling you right now, Seminole Casino Hotel gets Uno. I'll be making that drive down Corkscrew a little bit more often. That's all I'm saying.
I know.
Kathy, are you listening? Are you listening?
Oh,
21,000 is
man.
the text line if you want to chime in on anything we've talked about. That conversation with David Samson, you are right. We could have done at least an hour uninterrupted by commercial.
Easy.
But I'm with him that I think a salary cap is something, and Manfred's talked about it. Because with the cap comes the floor, David. And when you look, the Mets and the Dodgers, their payroll is more than 3 different divisions combined.
Oh, it's absurd. And it's one of my teams that's now benefiting from it. Okay. Listen, I have no problem. I'm not against the salary cap in baseball at all. I'd be for it, actually. Okay. I would. I just know that the union literally, there's one golden rule in baseball. Don't bet on baseball. There is the golden rule for the Baseball Players Association is to never agree to a salary cap.
All right, a couple of things when I was reading about this that I found interesting. Baseball's the only sport of the 4 majors where the players aren't getting 50% of the revenue. They're getting 46% of the revenue. So I think that there are negotiation things that could get us there more quickly than you do. And the other part of this that we did talk about is the fact that the union seems to only want to benefit their top players. And that is so counterproductive to what a union is supposed to be.
I agree.
When are the rank and file players going to step up and tell Scott Porras to go pound sand? You're not representing us.
Well, how many years ago was it when the last CBA went down? But remember, Scherzer and a couple of other Boris clients were on like the big, committee for the players. And it's like, what are you doing? Get the Junior Camaneros of the world. Get them on this committee, for goodness sakes. Okay. I mean, Max Scherzer could be as well-intentioned as possible, but come on. His tax bracket's a little different.
The other thing that I think would be appealing to the owners, and John Wall Street's where I'm getting some of this information from. It was a fascinating little column. But to the new owner of the Rays, your franchise is worth less than the hockey team in that town. How the hell's that possible? And the fact that the average NBA franchise is now worth $4.4 billion. The average MLB franchise is at $2.3 billion. Major League Baseball produces more revenue than the NBA. If you're an owner of one of these teams, you want your value to continue to rise at the rate that these other franchises are. And there are many that believe putting a cap and a floor in place would do that for those franchises. Because as David pointed out, you buy a franchise for 1.7, you've got to build a stadium, and then you've got to produce players. So it's going to be,
okay.
I think it's a story, until they have a CBA, David, I think this is a regular story that we're going to be frequently talking about over the course of the next however many months?
Well, listen, I talk about it every day, but our audience would lose their minds. All right, very quickly. Fine, we're going to do a floor. I just said 180, and David Samson said, you're out of your mind. So that's David Samson saying, dude, it ain't going to be higher than 150. Okay, so then what's the ceiling? I mean, come on. What's the ceiling then? We got the Dodgers and Mets spending almost $400 million. Okay, we got the Cubs spending 200. We got the Red Sox spending 200. We got the Yankees spending 300. No. What's the ceiling?
I think it would be. I think the floor would be a little lower than 150. I think it would be 135 to 140. And I think the ceiling would be, if they want to go NBA style and tax it over a certain number, that number might be 250, might be 300.
There's no way that I don't think that the players would agree to it ever. Okay, but fine. Now look at all the salaries we already have. Okay, I mean, Ohtani's salary is a 10-year deal. Soto's is 15. Okay, you put in a year and a half. If you change, Judge is making $40 million a year for another 6-7 years. You take the top, which for the teams that I just talked about is between $300 and $400 million, and you're going to bring it down to what?
I think around 300. I think 275.
Okay.
And then then I think the only way to do it initially, David, would be to have a luxury tax for those that are going. They're just like basketball. That it's not a hard cap like football and hockey, that it would be more like basketball.
See, here's my problem. Like in the NFL, their floor and their ceiling, I believe, is separated by 15%. It could even be 10%, but I believe it's 15%. So, you got to, I mean, if the cap's $272 million, you got to spend $230, $240 to get to the floor somehow, some way. I mean, you can't do a Marlins and Rays.
And that's where the problem is. To me, the problem is not getting the rank and file, because I think you could get the players to do it. I really do. But I think the hard part, David, is going to be getting the owners to agree on a floor. I think that's far harder, at least to me, than getting a cap in. Miller and Moulton. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or nolanagency.com.
Summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Miller and Moulton are very grateful to you, the listeners, for making us one of the highest rated shows for men, because the working man is one of the toughest demos to reach, and we do. Great sponsors like Floor Meisters, American Paint Supplies, Glass Doctor, Sleep Treatment Direct, Game Day Men's Health, and Molly Maid recognize that, and we thank them. And if you own a business and working men are your clientele, the most cost-effective way to reach them is through us. Text Miller and Moulton at 21,000 or directly via X at that Mark Miller or the David.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So, David, Club Pro Guy retweeted the Scheffler interview.
Mm-hmm.
Club Pro Guy's finally been a little more active here in the past couple weeks. I remember finally making the cut on the number at the 96 Yucatan Masters and having this weird empty feeling. Is this what I worked so hard for? I ended up shooting 86.91 on the weekend to finish DFL.
Yeah, he just kind of stopped, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do we know?
I don't know. I'm guessing he just wanted it to stop. I think it got bigger than what it got bigger than what he expected, and he stepped away. Whereas the Super 70 sports guy, it got bigger than expected. He's doing a show on Outkick.
Well, we had
I'd love to get him if we could, by the way.
Okay. So the first guy, when Joe Buck did that PGA show in 2022, we had him on.
Yeah, I remember.
We digitized his face.
Yep.
Okay, we had him on twice over the 4 days.
Yeah, that guy, and then the Mexican dude from California who is hysterical.
Hysterical.
He's kind of backed off. I mean, after the wildfires, he kind of quit because he basically said, I live here and there's too much going on, with all the fires to basically be making jokes.
Right.
And I've not seen much out of him since. He was funny.
Hey, C-Fine.
You got to smack that.
What's the time difference? 8 hours? Is it 5:30 there? Wow. Well, enjoy your dinner. Thanks for checking us out. Hope you're doing well. EB, I'm sorry. I don't watch the Ocho, and I don't. Call me old, whatever Clint Eastwood.
They do it one day a year or whatever it is.
Right. I don't do it.
Because for those of us old enough, we remember early ESPN, and that's what they actually did.
Right. So
Scholastic Sports America.
Right.
Vic's Vacant Lot.
Oh, Vic's Vacant Lot. So I just kind of feel like we've been there, but I'll tell you what, though, like a 22-year-old Melissa Stark showing up at a Fargo high school to do a feature on a kid. You want to talk about someone who got a lot of attention. Holy mackerel. Yeah, the high school boys had never seen a Melissa Stark up close and personal before. Nice, Hoosier.
Hilarious. Just this daily email I get had a link to the 50 best dive bars in America. Pinky Masters, that I was just at in Savannah, listed as number 10.
Nice.
It is a great bar. It really is. This is a list worth keeping right here.
Is that just Savannah?
No, it's nationwide.
Oh, wow.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
Home stretch of Miller and Moulton on this All-Star Game Tuesday. Pat Kerwin, Seth Everett, at the very least, we'll probably go across the pond again for another Open Championship guest on the show tomorrow. Thanks to Greg DuCharme, Matt Moscona, JP Peterson, David Samson for joining us today on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. You miss any part of the show ever, you can go to millerandmoulton.com. Mark posts every hour, immediately after every hour, and you can download what you missed. Our poll question today, a pair of JHs, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, voted by NFL executives, scouts, and coaches, 2 of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. Herbert came in 7th, Hurts came in 9th. So we said, which JH would you want to be your quarterback for the rest of the decade? 5 more seasons, Herbert or Hurts? And I checked it, 15 or so minutes ago, Mark, but it was like 2-1 Hurts.
It is. It's exactly where it's at right now. I somehow need to remember to save this. And I want this season to go however it goes, because I think the Chargers are going to be better. Obviously, the Eagles are the defending champs. But I literally think as long as you and I do a show together, we could damn near ask this same question every July.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Today was a day when, brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, 239-427-3441. That's 427-3441 to book an appointment or go online. It's even easier. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Mention Miller and Moulton for an additional 10% off of your service. Lot to get to today, David. We start in 1912. Had this guy last week. It was today in 1912 that Jim Thorpe would win the decathlon gold medal. He placed top 4 in all 10 events for an Olympic record. The medal was stripped a year later because he played pro baseball and reinstated in 1982. Today in 1921, Babe Ruth ties Major League Baseball's career home run record. It was held by Roger Connor since 1895. That number, 138. Gene Saracen's wins his first of 7 majors today, winning the U.S. Open in 1922. Bobby Jones gets his first career major in 23, winning the U.S. Open. In 27, Bobby Jones retained his title at the British Open. And in 45, Byron Nelson wins his 5th and final major, winning the PGA. To tell you the majors were on a little different schedule then than they are now is a tremendous understatement. Arnie wins his first of 2 consecutive British Opens today at Royal Birkdale in 1961. One Life to Live premiered today in 1968. The Elton John album Honky Chateau in 1972 becomes his first #1 album. It would include Rocket Man on it. That same day, Trevino wins his 2nd straight Claret Jug, the first to successfully defend his title since Arnold Palmer in 62, winning at Murfield, beating Nicklaus by 1. 1978, Nicklaus completes his 3rd career Grand Slam, winning the British at St. Andrews, 2 ahead of Crenshaw and Ray Floyd. 2 things happened today in 1980. 1, Johnny Bench breaks Yogi Berra's record, hitting his 314th home run. But the one that's more interesting to me is that Billy Carter, the president, his brother, Billy, registers as a foreign agent of the Libyan government, and they paid him hundreds of thousands of dollars. Billy Beer just wasn't bringing in enough dough for him.
Nope. The peanut farm just, wasn't producing enough peanuts.
1968, Run DMC's Raising Hell becomes the first rap album certified platinum. By the way, this should kind of tell us, as much as you like to say it's a Christmas movie, Die Hard was released today in 1988. You don't release Christmas movies in the middle of July.
No, but Hallmark does have Christmas in July, Mark. Okay. And I think they took their cue from Die Hard. For the record, I do not consider Die Hard a Christmas movie.
Wedding Crashers premiered today in 2005. Mike Babcock turned down an offer to remain with Anaheim to be the new head coach of the Wings today in 2005. Gangnam Style, the worldwide hit, was released today in 2012. Yeah, you probably liked it. Stranger Things debuted on Netflix today in 2016. France beats Croatia for the World Cup today in 2018. Their former captain, DuCharme there, becomes the third man to win the event as a player and a coach. Djokovic wins his fourth Wimbledon today in 2018, and Messi signed with Miami today in 2023. Rembrandt, Alex Karras, and Ian Curtis, who is the singer of Joy Division, a great early modern rock band, all would have celebrated birthdays today. By the way, Rembrandt was his first name, just in case you were wondering, not his last name. Linda Ronstadt, 79. Jesse the Body Ventura is 74. Kim Alexis is 65. Actor Forrest Whitaker is 64. Brian Austin Green from 90210 is 52. And Damian Lillard is 35 years old today. What did I miss, David?
Well, along the line of birthdays, Rosie Greer is 93. He's the oldest living former NFL player. Rosie Greer, 93. A couple of things. I don't think you had it, which surprises me. Did you have the Ford Motor Company produce their first car today?
No, I saw it and I skipped it.
Well, technically, they took
They
their
didn't
first.
produce their first car. They had their first sale today. They took their
Right.
first order.
$850 two-cylinder Model A with a back seat. It was produced at their Mack Street, which is now Mack Avenue plant in Detroit. $850 took them a week to take the order, build the car, and deliver it to a dentist in Chicago. That's not bad. I mean, don't laugh. I mean, do you go on Amazon? How do you do that today? You got to build this sucker from scratch. Okay? A week? Deliver it in Chicago? I think that's impressive. Yeah, maybe it's just me. So the whole Jimmy Carter malaise speech in which he never said the word malaise, yeah, he gave it today in 79. That worked out really well for him.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah, really well.
Did he carry a state besides Georgia in 80?
Yeah, he didn't do Mondale. It wasn't Mondale 4 years later where he only carried Minnesota. Okay, but no, he got beat like a drum. And by the way, two other things. Versace gunned down today in front of his house in 97. But so Twitter is 19 years old today. Okay. Twitter launched today in 06.
Okay.
It was released as TWTTR. And then obviously we all know what happened.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to L.A. for the good, where the Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, was playing at a theater in L.A. And according to the Instagram page, Neil Diamond, who hasn't performed in years because he has Parkinson's, made his way into the audience and sang Sweet Caroline to the folks in the crowd.
Wow.
A big deal. Was in the car over the weekend, and I do the serious thing in the 70s on 7. They had Holly Holy. It was like the number 3 song in the land that week, and I don't think people realize, it's hard to realize that he was a really big deal.
Oh my goodness, was
I
he
know
big?
your mom and my mom listened, but I never really took my mom's musical listenership, meaning that somebody was a big deal. 'Cause, I mean, she liked a few artists, and some of them were big and some were not. I mean, she
Right.
liked Helen Reddy, for crying out loud. Helen Reddy, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar.
Numbers too big to ignore, Mark.
For the bad, we go to London, where the London Fire Brigade responded to an apartment fire in the city where the blaze was sparked by a tortoise, a pet tortoise, who sparked the blaze by knocking over his own heat lamp. A fourth-floor apartment fire started. Fire department was sent to the apartment. No one was injured, but the tortoise is in trouble. Finally, the ugly, and there's a lot to take in here. We come back to the Sunshine State in Pinellas County, where at a Walmart in South Pasadena, Florida, Jeff LaForge was arrested for theft. Security cameras recorded him removing items from their packaging and then departing Walmart without paying for them. They were all sex toys. I could list all of the toys, but it would make David cringe.
A little bit.
But the fact that Walmart sells I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I want to do it, but even I am afraid to read the words. Nothing I can't say on radio.
So the most risque we're going to be today is talking about the big dumper?
He had a tush toy and an oral stroker, and those weren't the items I'm afraid to say. The kicker is, after trying to steal nearly $1,000 worth of sex toys, there was also one other item that he tried to leave with. It was a Reese's peanut butter ice cream bar for $3.98.
I knew it was something on the way out the store. I knew it.
And that is the good, the bad, and what do you treat yourself after pleasuring oneself ugly here on Miller and Moulton.
I don't know how we're going to find this out, but I want to find this out in a couple days. 8 o'clock tonight on the Four Letter Network is Caitlin Clark. Indiana and Connecticut. Connecticut's the worst team in the league. They've won 3 games. But Caitlin Clark, is this phenomenon still a phenomenon? Does this game do it?
You know what? How about make a few shots, Caitlin? She's played horribly. Yeah, I know she's had 2 injuries. She had the leg injury and then the groin injury. I get it. She's playing through injury. All great athletes do. How about you're known for making 3-pointers? I don't know. How about have one game where you shoot 50% from the floor? Because you've been lousy lately. I mean lousy.
And her 3-point shooting percentage is
terrible.
And what's interesting is she changed her shot during the offseason. Okay. I think she tried to shoot a little more like Steph. I'll be curious if she sticks with this because it ain't working. She started the year okay. Then she went on that West Coast trip and went like 1 for 26, got injured, has come back, and as Mark has said, she's been like 2 for 7 pretty much every night in her comeback from the second injury. So I'm curious tonight. Caitlin Clark on the Four Letter Network at 8 o'clock, head-to-head with the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, 8 o'clock on Big Fox.
Where is Caitlin playing? What network?
ESPN.
Interesting. I mean, of any cable channel, we've talked about it, biggest subscription base, you're going to get the best number on ESPN. Better than TNT, better than anything else that's out there.
Right. Better than FS1, ESPN2. Right. This is your best shot unless it was on ABC. So baseball game on Fox, 8 o'clock. By the way, lately, their first pitch has been very close to 8. Their pregame, 7:30-ish, but they've been doing first pitch of the All-Star game pretty close to 8 lately.
If Caitlin does 1 million, would you consider that good head-to-head with the MLB All-Star Game?
I'd consider it great. The All-Star Game is going to do 5.5 to 6 million people. Yeah.
So there you have it. Miss any of the show, go to millerandmoulton.com or any of the usual places that you download our podcast. Seth Everett, Pat Kerwin on a Wednesday edition of Miller and Moulton. Have a great rest of your day. Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This is Miller and Moulton